All right. And now we are good to go. Freaking 9:30 in the morning, y'all. 9:30 a.m. Let me go ahead and get this news out to everybody. Make sure we're getting things going here. Obviously, just coming off the heels of Riddler Man. So I'm sure if everybody is already making their way on over here, let me go ahead and change up some stuff real quick. I know we've got a couple things that I need to do. So for chit-chat in the chat right now, give me like 1 second. I got to change some stuff here. First off, check out that number, guys. What the heck? We've been climbing incredibly quickly since the like beginning of that. Like for me going on a hiatus almost for like 3 months, and to come back and get like 10K views in the last month, a bunch of other stuff too. What's up, Yoko? How are ya? How are things? Give me 1 sec here. I'm just simply tweeting out everything in regards to the fact that I am live. So give me a little bit. Feel free to go get yourself a coffee, or if you're at work, don't get caught. You know what I mean? All right, let's go ahead and that's what I should have typed this. All right, so let's go ahead and take all this here, post that, add it into some Discord, so on and so forth. So I've come to the conclusion that I almost want to always just talk like this and keep it at a low voice, so I'm not talking at a higher voice, because a lot of people tend to really like this low voice that I have going on, especially in the morning. In the morning, it's like really low. So, but who's to say? Who's to say? All right. Dude, no, Riddler Man, no freaking kidding. You know, I'm already talking about probably all the stuff you already talked about on your live stream. I was like, I'm coming right off the heels of you. So we're just here hanging out and having a great time. Dude, what a day. What a day. What is... Low voice sounds a little better. Camera may be more work than it's worth. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I like doing it, so. All right, yeah, that's right, dude. Brother Rob, welcome on in. Mm-hmm. Okay, so real quick, all right, let me get this out to a couple people here. Make sure everybody knows that I'm live. Who doesn't already know already? Let's see here. We've got post it right on here, and then we can go ahead and post it right on. Where the heck is it? I need my content creation thing. Where do I find content creation? I'm missing it. Content creation. There you are, baby. There you are. Let's go ahead and send that out to the Colorado Discord. Yeah. All right. So, guys, if you haven't already heard, something absolutely amazing just recently happened. A wonderful, I'm not going to bring it up. I'd rather you guys go see it. I can always go ahead and we can watch it if everybody wants to watch it. We're probably going to only watch the specific part that I'm talking about. But a couple things. A wonderful interview from Flukenbox and James White had just come out. And let me tell you, right? Sit down with me. All right? Sit down. This UG is not for flesh and blood. This UG is for the people who continuously doubted Flesh and Blood every single day since they saw those print run releases for Monarch, Tales of Aria, and Everfest. Now, if this becomes a short, or not a short, if this becomes its own video at some point, you know, we're gonna talk about that. But This is super cool. In this interview with Flesh and Blood creator James White, he had went ahead and talked about, you absolutely can cuss in the chat. Yeah, I like to keep it 18 plus for sure. So feel free. I'm going to refrain from it since I'm the one on camera, but none of your chat is coming up on screen. I haven't set that up yet. I don't know if I really even want to in half the time, but I feel like it is something that I might do in the future just because I know you guys want to be involved. So maybe I'll put you right over here sometime soon. Flesh and Blood creator James White in this interview said when he was asked the question about Everfest Unlimited. Now, obviously, for those of you who don't know, Everfest is one of the expansion sets that came out in the, I believe it was late 2021. And it was it's got insanely good cards in it for a whole bunch of different classes. The expansion sets are normally the sets that you get additional stuff set up for these classes, things that they couldn't maybe put in a draft set. And Everfest was incredibly powerful. There's so many good cards in it. It's also, for the record, the first time you had seen Marvel Heroes. I believe Icelander and Starvo were both Marvel Heroes in Everfest first edition. Because I believe Everfest came out before HP1. Correct me if I'm wrong, but HP1 Black Label was the only one that had Marvel Heroes. So Everfest was the first one that had Marvel Heroes in it. And the set was great. It's still great to this day, right? We had just, if you haven't seen the video already, there was a video I talked about where Everfest was going for like $45 or something. And, you know, on the backs of the whole Rudy situation that was going on, everybody was like, well, this is just all garbage, right? And see, yeah. And a lot of people's first set was Everfest. A lot of people were on the heels of Tales of Aria, going into Everfest, upgrading all their cool elemental decks and checking stuff out. This set is amazing. So many good cards in the set. But during this interview, James White was asked about unlimited Everfest, because we do not have unlimited Everfest. There's only ever been the first edition. And when you look at the Everfest page on the Flesh and Blood website, you have a little asterisk down there at the bottom talking about Everfest Unlimited and how it has not yet been released. Now, everybody had continued sitting there going, what the heck? Where could it be? We're already like 4 more sets down the line in regards to things that even could begin to be Everfest Unlimited. And people were just sitting there and waiting, and they were expecting there to be hundreds of thousands of cases of the stuff just sitting in LSS warehouses because people were waiting for the release, right? That they had to have overprinted all of this stuff because of, you know, they were going to keep the trend running, right? Well, during this interview, James White had said, when he was asked if Everfest Unlimited was ever happening, his answer very quickly was no. No. They aren't, it is not happening. Everfest Unlimited is not happening. Exactly, right. No one had said they already printed boxes, but everybody assumed that they had already printed boxes because First Ed of Aria existed and Unlimited Aria existed, First Ed Monarch existed, Unlimited Aria existed. Everybody assumed, or at least a good amount of people that I know who were, you know, not believers in Flesh and Blood, did not. They were like, there's got to be tons of cases of this stuff just sitting in warehouses. They're going to dump it like Magic dumped a whole bunch of their stuff into a landfill. And it's going to be this big problem. And the entire economy of Flesh and Blood is going to drop to zero. Well, James White had confirmed that boxes were shredded. Unlimited product of Everfest was shredded. And there are now, at this point, there were 11 cases that were made, essentially. 10 of them are sitting at LSS Studios. One of them accidentally got shipped out to a store in New Zealand that the store was upset that they got unlimited Everfest. It was an accident. Yeah, 11 left after the shredding. After the shredding, there were 11 left. 10 of them are sitting at LSS Studios. One of them accidentally got shipped out to a store in New Zealand, which, frankly, they were just like, yeah, whatever, right? It's, you know, they weren't happy about it because they already had a whole bunch of Everfest anyway. Unlimited if they need it at some point, didn't they? Made me think it's a print to demand thing. So that's the thing. I don't personally believe that it is going to be a demand thing. I'm not sure whether or not that's actually the case. And whether or not that entirely is going to be happening, because James White even said during the interview that he believes there is enough of the product out there already. And, you know, let's say there's a demand for the product 5 years down the line. There's no reason for them to print Everfest Unlimited. There's no reason. There'd be a reason for them to do something like a, you know, History Pack Volume 2 or History Pack Volume 2 release in English. That might be something, some White Border History Pack Volume 2, and put the cards from Everfest in it. But they're not going to reprint Everfest, as far as I would be concerned, because that would just be silly. Pre-Producer James said in the interview last year it had been printed, but it wasn't being released. Exactly. It had been printed, but it wasn't going to be released, and everything that they had printed, all the boxes that they did have for Everfest Unlimited were shredded, besides 11 cases. 11 cases is all that exists. Probably really 10. We can just assume 10 because another store got one of them. 10 cases of Everfest Unlimited is all that exists ever. And it will never see the hands of people. He said that at some point they might do something like a prize wall thing with the 10 cases that they have of Everfest Unlimited. But right now, there's no chance that they're putting it onto the market because they watch the market. It is something that James has talked about several times. They watch the market. They see people's reactions to things. You know, I'm sure after the Rudy video, you know, everybody was freaking out about prices. And, you know, I'm sure Ellis has had their eyes on secondary markets for forever. But they know how much of their first ed product has been printed. And they were like, well, we don't need to worry about getting an unlimited printing out there when there's already, 229,000 boxes of Everfest First Edition available on the market to be done, right? So the reprint window is out, right? You're not going to see that anymore. This is truly an insane thing because now you're only looking at Everfest First Ed ever. That's it. If you really want to consider it, Everfest First Edition is now like the beginning of Fab 2.0, where it's all just in one box, right? You can find everything in one box, cold foils and all. Super cool. Because let's be honest, the unlimited product probably would not have sold for nearly anything if it went to the market. Even right now, if we didn't know that information, Everfest Unlimited probably would have never gone to market. Because why? Like, you can buy a box of Everfest for less than what you would probably map, you know, Everfest for in Unlimited. Exactly. Contains the first Marvel before it was even called a Marvel. Super good. Super hype. So if you guys haven't picked up Everfest, you know, I suggest doing it. Right? There's enough of it on the market to where you're not going to be priced out because everybody should be selling it near map. And if they're not, you're getting a deal because it's never going to go. I still even think that with the 229,000 boxes that were printed, I still don't think it's going to go near above map. But again, the set is a banger. And more importantly, for those of you who follow me for master set stuff, the master set is super easy to get. Super easy to get. A lot of the cards are super cheap because there is so much of it. It's all first ed stuff. It's a very easy first edition product to collect. Very, very good. So there's a lot of good reprints. So really, if they need more reprints, you have you have new sets and expansion slots will get reprints out. Exactly. Yeah. Yep. All the extended arts, right? Cold foil majestics. You've got the that shield is in there. What the heck is the name of the shield? Stalagmite? Is that what that is? Right? I don't play Guardian. If they released just those 11 cases, people would chase the unlimited cards. Oh, absolutely. Then that's what I mean. If it becomes a prize wall thing where the 11 cases are, given to people at prize walls for things, that is, even though it's an unlimited product and there's nothing like truly special in there, because the unlimited product probably isn't going to have marvels. It's not going to have cold foils. It's not going to have any of that, right? The only thing that's going to be like, oh yeah, this is super cool about the product is the fact that there are 10 cases in existence, 11 cases in existence, and now, you can only get them at prize walls, possibly, for playing Flesh and Blood at competitive events. So it is very, like, there's nothing truly chase about it other than the fact that now we know there's not a lot of it in there. I should have contained the Tunic reprint for thematic reasons. Not sure why they put Tunic in Crew. I'm not sure why they put Tunic in Crew either, but I also wasn't playing at the time. I'd imagine people knew. I imagine when Crew came out, Alpha was like insanely sought after. And so I think a lot of people just saw that Tunics were doing really well and they scooped it up. And obviously Tunic is still doing well to this day, but they added it in Crew. It's doing great now, though. You can just pick up the Evo one for under $70. Super insane. And yeah, there may also never be a Rainbow Foil Fable of Grandeur, or the Grandeur of Valahai. There may never be a Rainbow Foil. I mean, maybe there is, right? Obviously, they can just make the cards. They probably have like one, but I think there wasn't anything special, and otherwise, I feel like they would have kept them. Yeah, exactly. So the market, as well as I think HP2 contains HP2 does contain Everfest cards. So again, that is another I think that is the route that they're probably going to take for these products. Is if it becomes a thing where there's a demand for it later on in the future, right? 5 years from when the set comes, or like 2 years from the set comes out or whatever, they can create a product that has lower, to quote the company, uglier versions of the cards and put that into a different set. Because I think the history packs, excuse me, I think the history packs do super well. I like the history packs. It really brings out a lot of staple cards from these previous sets, gets them into your hands for fairly cheap, and they even still hold a premium depending on the cards, right? A white bordered Tunic still goes for a lot. White border CNC, white bordered Art of War, Light and Strike, any of the like the specializations or the super rares that became majestics, like very, very, very nice stuff. So Juke, how you doing, man? Yeah, dude, long time no see for sure. How you been? It has been a while. Good to see you here. Good to see everybody here. I hope everybody's having a good day. We're just hanging out. We're vibing, right? So everybody comes in pretty good. In total W, a little bit more than Ark and Crew, possibly the same or less than Mon, likely significantly less than. Sorry, is it like a rating? Oh yeah, it comes in pretty good now. Yeah. So, and that's the thing, right? Obviously, if with the set no longer having an unlimited printing, there's significantly less of the cards available. We don't know what the print size is even for unlimited versions of Tales of Aria and Monarch. And that's the other thing too. This question was just asked about Everfest, and we don't want to assume. We don't want to assume things, because that's not although that's all we can do is speculate and assume. But what I'm assuming the case is because when they were talking about print runs, they said that, James White said they were keeping an eye on the market and they were looking at things, and that is pretty much the route that they're going to go on from this point forward, which is look at the market, look how much they've printed, see the demand, and then once a product is essentially out of print, they'll shred everything that doesn't need to hit market and then move on to the next one. And that really, 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 really does good things for collectors, because now when you look at something like, let's say Dynasty, right? I don't think there are that many people opening up Dynasty right now, but Dynasty has some pretty good stuff for a bunch of classes as well. A whole bunch of Marvel weapons and all these other things. And, Construct Nitro Mechanoid, Invoke Soraya, all these things. Crown of Dominion. You consider that, in which there's probably not a lot of people opening up boxes these days, especially, right? It's not a lot of people opening up boxes because you can go buy the singles. You're waiting for your LGS to open them up so you can buy the singles from your LGS or buy them from some online retailer. And it is so, like, now at this point, boxes aren't being opened at such a rate, to the point where now, eventually, when the set gets out of print, will LSS just be shredding the remainder of their product to then keep it cycling into the next one, which means that we could be looking at very, very different print runs for varying different sets based on popularity, based on demand, based on what people want for these things. And, now that less and less people are opening up boxes, there's not going to be as much of a demand. But if stores start opening more and more boxes and selling more and more singles, because obviously, as Flukenbox had said on his channel, he's doing very well in the APAC region for selling product. He's doing very well in just the singles market in general, doing super great. And you're able to make money doing that, for sure, because people want the singles. So this isn't a players buy boxes kind of scenario. This is a seller should buy boxes and crack them and try, because they're, other people might buy a box, but it might not. Other people might buy a box, but it's really what LSS wants is the sellers to sell the boxes, or like the retailers to sell the boxes and sell the singles and stuff like that and go from there. So, but yeah. Let's see here. Let me just keep on going. Juke, doing good, just passing by before work. Well, hopefully you have a great day at work, Juke. Hopefully things are going great out in your world. Always a pleasure to see you here. Personally not a fan of HP. They feel like prize packs only. Probably fun to open. I don't know. Oh, yeah, I think they're fun to open. I opened my very first History Pack Volume 1 box last year. Pulled an Art of War and a Stormstriders out of it. I was like, I'm good. I don't need anything else out of this. Like, this is great. Let's see. Serve new region well so they don't have to acquire mod. Yeah. And like I said, I'd said previously, I think when we were talking about this, or maybe I said it in one of my videos, that I think that it was mainly for support for the rest of the world is why History Pack stuff exists. And it's not truly just to get more cards into the hands of players who already had them. As to which, if that is the true purpose of them, they're doing amazing for the general economy outside of the world. Catching up on the video, said Everfest is the first non-Marvel Marvel, but I would say Crew Twinning Blade is the first Marvel, unless ARC or WTR has an extended art, but I don't know. See, and now, I guess if you could consider that a Marvel, that could be the case, right? I think the reason we call it a Marvel is because even though Twinning Blade obviously is a very beautiful card, looking at it from the first Ed Twinning Blade extended art, right? It's not the same extended art that we know now, where like the art is grayed out behind the text box, or the text box background is grayed out so you can see the entirety of the art. I wouldn't doubt that that's the case, Jonathan. But again, I think as far as Marvel heroes go, I think that's mainly what we're looking at, especially since that's when they started to like call them that. I mean, Marvels really were only a thing in Uprising. They called them Marvels in Uprising. But when you look back and you look at the fact that a Marvel is now a cold foil front face and the back of it is a full art, no text box, just the title of the card kind of deal. I think that's when you look at something like that to be considered a Marvel. So, what's up, Zam? How are you? Welcome on in. Yama, how are you? How's your? I saw you. I didn't watch your video yet. I don't know if you did it. I can't remember. But I saw you bought out a store for their Flesh and Blood product. How much of a deal did you get there? And Heavy Hitters does seem like a banger of a set. Get Staples out there better instead of it being it by almost in its years. I think that's a good way to look at it, right? I mean, HP1 has a ton of staples in it. You've got things like Sink Below's in there. You've got a bunch of specializations for heroes. You've got, I don't know. I think, I mean, obviously you have all the big hit cards like Command and Conquer and E-Strike and Art of War. Those are huge staples. And like, I'm happy that you're able to get a lot of different things, because it also what History Pack also does personally for me is it lets me look at cards from other sets that I just don't like know about, right? I don't know nearly anything about Wizard, but whenever I pull a Wizard card from an HP1 pack, I'm like, oh, huh. Like, I didn't even know that was a card that got printed. So got 140 packs for 185 euros. Wow. That's a pretty insane deal, actually. Some cards I missed and good value hits. Yeah, there you go. Nice. Well, good. Good. I'm glad that it worked out for you. That's an insane sale. Were they just going out of business, or were they just stopping selling Flesh and Blood? Yeah. Year 1, HP year 2. My fear is HP2 is it will have too much of Tales of Aria and no hero is usable in CC now. So that's actually another thing I wanted to talk about. For those of you who, again, this is another shout out to first edition product. We also don't know how much Unlimited was printed for Tales of Aria. Obviously, it's still being sold everywhere and so on and so forth, but I'm not sure whether or not they could have even shredded a whole bunch of stuff for Tales of Aria Unlimited and Monarch Unlimited as well, because we don't know those print runs yet. And obviously, the market took the first ed product, shot it down into what would be Unlimited product pricing right now. So you see that and you go, okay, this is different, right? But Tales of Aria is not a dead set. And I think this needs to be very, very specific. Obviously, you're not going to see certain things, come to life again. But just because all the heroes in Tales of Aria are in Living Legend right now, just because all the heroes from Aria are in Living Legend right now for CC, does not mean that we're never going to go back to Aria, right? Aria, it exists in the world. It's not just going to disappear off the map. It's a very crucial part to the storyline and the lore of Flesh and Blood. And because of that, we're going to go back, right? It may be super toned down compared to the power level that Tales of Aria originally had, but we will go back. And when that happens, the cards from Tales of Aria will spike again. It is just a cycle, right? When we go back to Volcor, damn well that all of these Draconic cards are going to get a new life, right? They're going to breathe life into themselves, and they're going to go, all right, cool. This is our time. This is going to work best for this, and these cards are going to do well. The fact that it doesn't go away means that Aria is not just like a dead set, right? And more importantly, the heroes are still available to be played in Blitz, Clash, Commoner, all of these things. So just because they hit Living Legend in certain aspects does not mean that they're unplayable. It doesn't mean that you couldn't just kitchen table some stuff and play around with that. It is all very, very important to see that there's more to the game than just what is in the now. You have to be looking years into the future, especially when you're doing something like collecting or even just buying cards in general. You have to be looking further into the future. So, and that's the whole thing. Let's see. The stock in a case for like over a year. Last time I was there 6 months ago. They have the same stuff now. So clearly a product they stopped carrying. Yeah, it seems like it. So you guys all got bought sealed boxes in solidarity. There you go. I wish I had the money to do that right now, but I will eventually get to it. I just spent my current Flesh and Blood monthly purchase on the Heavy Hitters TCG Player Bundle, so can't wait to open that up with everybody. Also, that's another thing we'll talk about in a sec after I catch up with chat, but fun things for that. As hey, about all your boosters, what deal can you make? There you go. Well, that's good. And yeah, Arya exists, and I took that personally. But I think Arya is cool. I still think it's cool. I love the concept. Obviously, I mean, I never played Briar Day in my life, but like, I just love how colorful the set is. Even though I wear all black most of the time, I love how colorful the set is. So super, super good. Next Arya set will be interesting, very telling on how you handle whole talent that is out of the game. I'll be curious for sure. Yeah. Hey, Vibra, how are you? Or Vibra. How are you? Welcome on in. Good to see you. Good to see ya. How's the crypto world treating ya? I hope it's treating you well. I see you on Twitter every now and again talking about it still, so hopefully things are still doing well in your neck of the woods. But yeah, something that I wanted to chit chat about a little bit was the rainbow foils and the extended arts in the Blitz decks for heavy hitters. All right, we're going to move into heavy hitters. Talk a little bit about it, right? Let me go ahead and bring some stuff up here real quick so we can chit chat about heavy hitters. Give me a little bit here. If you guys didn't know, the entire set, besides the Fabled, which hopefully will be spoiled today, is out. So if you don't already know, you can go look at the entire set here. Obviously, the Fabled has not been hit yet, but there's going to be a bunch of box breaks and stuff going on today. The entire set of heavy hitters is out, and you know damn well what that means. I gotta make my review. Gotta talk about all this stuff because I really, really, really. If you guys haven't been watching the Celebrational, it's been an insane run. The Celebrational was such a cool thing. You got to see. I didn't stick around for the Underdog Blitz because, frankly, if it already exists in our world, I didn't really care for it. I really just wanted to know the heavy hitter stuff. So you had heavy hitters pre-con day on day 1, and then heavy hitter solo day 2. Solo was incredibly interesting. And it was really cool to see how powerful these decks became in a classic constructed format with just the cards in the set. I think it was such an eye-opener for how if you keep a set contained in a limited environment, it can still feel incredibly powerful. Now, obviously, in that situation, each player had an entire play set of every card in the set, besides the Fabled and besides expansion slot cards. So it's definitely not something I expect a lot of people to be playing because I can't expect a lot of people to get a whole master set of this stuff. But it is very, very cool to see. It is very cool to see the whole of it, right? To see every card in here have its place. It seemed like if there was a card that really did super well into the set, it was, where the hell is it? It's going to be down here somewhere. Where are you? It's put your money where your mouth is. I know the name of the card. There you are. Money where your mouth is. This card did super well. Gives any of their attacks +3, and then you can wager a gold. Huge. I watched the Invitational for one game, the Jason versus Mara Prism versus Phi game. The Jason won turn 1 as first player. I closed the stream after that. Yeah, it's I didn't actually watch that one. But that's Blitz, you know. That's what it be. That's just the way it be. But Heavy Hitter Solo is really, really good. I really liked the concept behind everything in regards to this whole set, how it was utilized, you know, the specializations and everything. I feel like anybody who played Betsy didn't really get the value off of the Good Time Chapeau. What the hell is that card? This one, so good. This is an insane helmet. I'm gonna love this in Clash. I might even just play Betsy for the league. I'm just saying, I might play Betsy for the league. This is cracked out of my mind. This is cracked. So I think it's just insane. Yeah, I'm not sure why people thought Prism wasn't going to do well, but Prism rocked it. I mean, rocked Blitz. So right, like I play Prism and Blitz. Why would you not? The hero's so good, and now you don't have to worry about Kano. It's good. Exactly right. It's a generational thing. Oh, that's right. Yeah, because old Prism is over 100 LL points. Well, yeah, new Prism, I guess, with old Luminaris, it's just the same. It's the same deck. You just don't get the Spectral Shields. You get to do some other stuff, but I'd be curious to watch that match. If it was that quick, I think it'd be fun to see. I tuned for Blitz and the guy running Prism destroyed it. Dude, Prism's good. Guys, Prism's good. She's got to be good, right? Who the hell is going to play this game if every woman that people are simping for sucks, right? Take a look at Fino. He was like a Prism simp, and then he was like, ooh, I don't know if I like all the stuff that's happening with Prism, and then he's like, oh wait, I'm crazy. Don't doubt my girl. And now we're back in it, right? So very cool, right? Very happy to see that. But I think overall, like I said, I think I liked something that I liked even more than the Heavy Hitter Solo stuff was the Heavy Hitters Recon section of the Celebrational. Even though it was just like a bunch of brute, right? I think all 3 games were like Reinar versus Betsy, Reinar versus Victor, and then it was KO versus Betsy. And I was like, where's everybody else? I don't think, or no, it was KO versus Kasai. Sorry, I think it was KO versus Kasai. No, that's right. So there was like 2 Reinar games and then the KO game, and I was just like, damn. Like all these other games, and people were just like, we want to see Olympia, because everybody wanted to see what Olympia did. And unfortunately, like it was also explained in the James White interview, Olympia is not going to be doing anything in this set, because unfortunately they had to like last minute kind of throw him in there, but they do have plans for him in the future. And so he is eventually going to have a bigger payoff for all the gold that he generates. But Olympia they had like 2 other ideas for Olympia before Olympia existed. And then they were like, well, like we should just make it more lore focused of a character, and then we'll work on it later. So it's essentially Arachne. This is Arachne, right? Arachne existed in Dynasty strictly because somebody had to kill the Emperor, but then got like no support for a little while until Outsiders. And even still right now they're doing pretty okay, but not like to the level in which people thought they would. So yeah, very, very much so the hero can still do stuff because obviously you can still utilize the gold. I mean, you can still pitch a blue to a gold, draw a card, have a floating resource. I mean, you're able to make stuff like that happen. But there is not a card in the set specifically for Olympia like there is for Kasai to destroy X gold, create X things. But why wouldn't you then play Kasai? I don't know. Some people really just like Olympia. I mean, if you're looking at it from a competitive edge, yeah, probably nobody's going to play Olympia. But like, you take a look at the people who played Riptide back when Riptide was like, yeah, I guess even Riptide still is not like the favorite. Like, why wouldn't you play Azalea? Or why wouldn't you play Lexi? But some people still played Riptide because they liked Riptide. Now, to be fair, Riptide at least did something. And Olympia did not. So it's I'm sure there are going to be some builds that work out for it. We were even talking in the Clash Discord not too long ago about the possibility that he could be a good Decimator Axe target because he could just buff the axe, have it come in with a wager, have them not be able to block the full thing because of the axe's ability, and then get a gold token, and then have some free floating resources and draw cards based on to reduce the cost of the axe for future turns, kind of deal. So I don't know what the plan is, right, for him. A lot of people assumed he would have like a cool spear weapon, and he doesn't. I expected him to have dual swords, and the only reason I expected that is because he's got them in his thing here. Like, he's dual wielding swords right here. So I assumed that was what we were going to see, was he was going to be dual wielding swords, and that was his whole thing. But I think people take one look at him and they're just like, that's a Spartan. He's got to have a spear somewhere, right? So is he an insanely silly hero? I mean, he doesn't do much in regards to other things if you look at it from like a competitive standpoint, but I mean, cash in is cracked. Like, play three cash in, and now you don't have to worry about freaking Icelander for nearly anything. Matter of fact, I wonder if you can play cash out. What does that do again? The number of weapons, equipment, and non-token items you control create a silver tip. Nope, never mind. That's not what I wanted. Yeah, his headpiece is strong. Temper 2, you can pay 1, destroy it, target weapon attack you control wagers a gold token. That's also very important when you consider this, because it can get plus Y, where Y is the number of times it wagered. So you can play up the ante, wager it 3 times with this, because all you need is a blue here. You pitch a blue to up the ante. You get to wager any of, I guess theoretically you could do it more times, right? You can have it wager an agility, wager a gold, because it doesn't say you can only do this once. So you do this, right? You can just buff up an attack to as much as you want based on how much wagers you have. But theoretically, if you just want all 3, you can just pay 3 and then plus 1. So pretty huge. And then, of course, like Prize Galea, you can add another wager to it to get more of those. And of course, if you win this wager, you not only get 1, 2, 3, 4 tokens, but then you get to make another gold. So I mean, I would imagine. I mean, choose X plus 1. Like, couldn't you just wager several times? I don't personally know. I'd have to wait. I'm not a judge. But, like, it doesn't say you can only choose 1 once. I mean, obviously, if you just buff it, Yeah, so maybe that could be the case. I mean, like I said, I'm not a judge. I don't know. It just doesn't say. But even if that is the case, you're able to pump it up like four times if a card is wagered 4 times, because you can obviously stack wagers. Exactly. Right. You can buff it. You can play money where your mouth is, wing weapon. It'll be like for, let's say it's Decimator. I actually paid for 7. You then pitch a blue, play up the ante. It comes in for 3, what is it? 3 more, 4 more. So then that axe will come in for 11, wagering a gold, an agility, and a vigor. And then at that point, you can use, like, 'cause another thing I'm looking at this series for is you're also looking at other cards that do special thing. What, Bubba? Do you want to say hi to the world? Is that what's going on? You were dead asleep on that. You were dead asleep on that freaking blanket not even that long ago. And now all of a sudden you want my attention? Come here. Oh, goodness. Okay. Come here, Bubba. There you go. There you go, buddy. You freaking... This little ham right here just wants to say hi to everybody. Say hi. Say hi, Bubba. I know. Life is so rough being a cat. I can't believe it. How could nobody pay any attention to you? Now you have an audience. You know how many shoulders you can climb up on? You know how many shoulders you can climb up on, Bubba? He doesn't care. He doesn't care. They're saying hi to you, Bubba. You can say hi back. Hi. 2 shoulders. 2? That's 8 pitch turn playing 2 cards, 5 card hand if you don't have Vigor Token or Tunic. Yeah. I mean, it's very much so. I think there's a concept for it, right? But then, I mean, you have all these other super cool warrior cards. You're falling off, Bubba. You're not helping. You have like this, right? A 0 for a 0 plus 3, play only if you wagered. So that's another buff. You've got this obviously plus 3. Hi, hello. Gets you tokens when you if it's defended by an attack action. Edge ahead is also pretty well. That's just the agility one. Where's the one that I know is like cracked? This is good. Next warrior attack this turn gets plus 3, and if it's defended by an attack action card, it gets go again. Like, that's really good. A 1 for 3. Where is... Isn't there one that is... I wonder if it's a Majestic. Is it Majestic? This one lets you sink. Yeah, this. Until end of turn, your warrior attacks get... When this card is defended by 1 or more attack action cards, destroy a card in the hero's arsenal. Disgusting, right? Obviously not, like... You can't really beat out instant speed stuff at this rate. Because I was sitting here going, oh man, all this arsenal destruction is super cool against Icelander, but I'm like, well, Icelander can just play that stuff at instant speed, so not really a winning effect there. Shift the Tide is also super cool. You just get to give something go again if it's got bigger attack. That's a good card. Oh yeah, you saying hi, Bubba? Is that what's going on? But I think there's some generics that are also like incredibly good too. Let me see here. It's probably in the Guardian Warrior thing. Okay, you want to get down, Bubba? Yeah, you do. There you go. Go enjoy your life. Okay, let's see. Let's look at the doubles here. We've got Brute Guardian, Brute Guardian, Brute Guardian, Brute Guardian, Brute Warrior equipment. Yeah, Brute Warrior. Runner. Also very fun. Another thing I've seen is or like that I thought about is Olympia using attack reaction or attack actions like Bolton does in a way. So you could probably even go like Decimator Axe into attacks just because like they come in for nearly nothing. Mm-hmm. Yeah, very good Majestics. Runner, 6 for 2, blocks 3. That's good. Especially if you can create an agility token with the feet flat trackers. You activate flat trackers, the runner gets go again immediately. Huge. Oh, down but out is really good. That's oh god, it's such a winning card. Such a winning card. And it's a generic. You can put that in anything. The clashes are cool. Take it on the chin. You can just prevent damage for 0. Pretty okay. Run into trouble. See, this is a warrior Steelblade Shunt without it needing to be anything else. I mean, obviously you need the agility token, which is, I don't know, it's weird, but it is the thing there. If you wanted to like block out and then ping damage, that is a concept that you could do. Rising speed, if you've drawn a card this turn, this gets go again. With gold, you can draw cards. So you can pay to draw gold, use one of the floating, and then 1 red to come in with 5 go again. That's for Olympia. Fun Olympia things, right? Lead with this card does work. Huge work. +3 to your Brutal Warrior attack, and then you create an agility token, and it has go again. Work. Card is cracked. And then you have all these other ones here. These are the Guardian Warrior stuff. Yep. Yeah. Yep, this set does have Lunging Press. Lunging Press is in there. So, very, very powerful. Let's see here. What else do we have? Rising Energy. If you've drawn a card this turn, this costs 1 less to play. So this is a possible 1 for 6. So with this, like this is another thing that you can think of, right? If you mix this card, Rising Energy, with this card, where the hell was it? Rising Speed. So Rising Speed and Rising Energy. Like the Rising cards are probably really good for Olympia, because you could draw a card, pitch a blue, pitch a red, Rising Speed for 5, and then Rising Energy for 1 for 6. Maybe. Let's see, what else? Lead with Heart is also super good. Yes, you create a Vigor token. So that's pretty powerful. I don't know. Exactly. Yeah, warrior attacks in general, which means that it buffs the attack. So that's what I'm saying. I think Olympia, Kasai wants to do stuff with her sabers because she gives her swords the ability to hit and get gold, right? Her thing is to make gold to then raise an army to have guys and then have those guys attack. That is how New Kasai plays. But Olympia, I think Olympia is very much so like, when you think about Flesh and Blood, every one of these attack actions is like a special move that a hero can do, right? It's an attack that they are doing, and that attack, it's when you think about it from like the outside perspective of like a game development thing, Olympia is the prized fighter, and he wins a lot because his attacks are super powerful and they're flourishing, and they're they synergize well with one another, and he's very powerful with his specific attacks. So I'd like to think that with cards that say draw a card, if you've drawn a card, do X thing, it is very powerful. Now, obviously, Kasai, right, when she draws a card, her weapons they cost nothing for her, which is huge for her, but she also cares about gold. So yeah, double down is good for Olympia because you can destroy a gold instead of paying for its cost. Where the hell was it? I just saw it up here. The hell are you? I'm probably like looking right at it. Is it generic? No. Anyway, yeah, double down. You can destroy it instead of paying its cost. So, and that's huge. Actually, I'm just gonna look it up because I want to make sure that I know what that does. Double down. Guardian Warrior. There it is. Yep. Destroy gold rather than pay its cost. The next attack that wagers this turn gets +3 and overpower, which is very huge. And then if a hero would create one or more tokens from a wager this turn, they create that many +1 of each of those tokens. Now, obviously, it says from a wager. So you could do this. You can play double down for free. Then you can play, I don't know, whatever the Vigor one is. Not wage. What's the one that gives +3 and on hit get Vigor? Oh man, come on. I should know all these cards already. I should know them all. Whatever. You know what I'm talking about. They should give their attacks names like an anime, how they shout a skill and they use it to add flavor to the other. Well, that's what I imagine the specializations are for. I think that would be really, really cool, Yoko, to see that. Honestly, I'd love to see some like indie game designer create something like a Flesh and Blood fighting game, because I think that would be a fun little like add-in to the game. Yeah, double down plus up the ante. Yeah, so that way you can do 0, swing with your weapon, comes in with 3 overpower. Let's say it's a hot streak. 5 overpower, and then you can up the ante, giving it +3. And then you can give it +3 and then also use Galea, so even +4. So it'll come in for 9 with overpower. And then you get 2 vigor, 2 gold, and 2 might out of it. So that certainly is a trick. I think that might be something I do, is try this like rising energy, and double down obviously is a huge one too. I just think like the cards just do super well. What I'm not like in love with though, and I gotta be honest, it might just be me, although I'm pretty sure it isn't, because I know a lot of people do. I've not heard like an amazing thing for it. I'm not big on block cards. I'm not big on the thought that block cards are a thing. I think it is cool that it, for a limited environment, that the block cards exist, but block cards are so, I don't know. I always thought the design was very, very weird, because if you put a block card in your arsenal, you're doomed. You're doomed. Like, I think there was a time where, like, even during the heavy hitters precon, Saint put a block card in his arsenal and it just had to sit there. But you can't do anything with them after they do that. Exactly. No, and that's the thing. I think when you think about it from that standpoint, right, because obviously block cards they're strictly only for blocking. And when you have something like Overpower, which allows you to not block with more than one action card, a block card is not an action card. So therefore it is more for like a limited format like this. But like, I don't personally, I haven't like taught I've taught like a decent amount of people how to play the game, but I don't like going into a limited event and just telling people, by the way, don't put a block card in your arsenal. Just don't do it. If you do it, you can't do anything with it. unless somebody blows up your arsenal or you find a way to remove it from your arsenal, you cannot put this in your arsenal, which is like a feels bad because, you know, obviously the only caveat to that is it at least lets you know, okay, well, if I can't put it in my arsenal, I can choose to block with this card first, as opposed to blocking with an attack action, right? You block with cards that say block, and you attack with cards that say attack. And that's like, they're really like kind of streamlining that. But I think it is very hard to tell people, yeah, you have this arsenal slot where every time if you've used like your whole hand and you wanted to keep one card in your hand or one card available for your next turn, you can put it in your arsenal. But it's just a feels bad. It's a feels bad thing. Like Trench of Sunken Treasures is like really good because you're able to filter your arsenal. Crown of Seeds is really good because you're able to filter your arsenal. So like, but like none of those are working with block cards. And frankly, if you're putting a card down, like that'd be like you put it in block, right? Only for you to then draw 4 cards so you can draw 4 new cards and not have a block card in hand. But at that point, you'd want to keep the block cards in hand because you want to block with them. So now you're only drawing like 3 cards as opposed to, you know, 4. And then like you draw into them and it's just like, it just feels bad, especially with all the stuff that has stuff to do with Clash. Like you want to have some block cards to block out those big Guardian attacks, but you know if you clash with somebody and you flip that block up, you're screwed because it's got no attack value. So I don't know. I don't know. But I feel it's like if you have a gem, you're investing in the game, it's hard to tell newer players to be like, yeah, you're screwed. Yeah, well, that's the thing, though. Like, gems, I mean, there are only specific decks that run gems. I mean, Dory runs Heart of Findal, and Kano runs Eye of Ophidia. Like, Viserai doesn't even run Arcanite Shard, from what I know. And all the other ones, like Grandeur of Valahai, doesn't really seem to be getting a lot of value out of things. Blood of the Drakai isn't run in any of the Draconic decks. Master Cog isn't even run in Mechanologists. Frickin', what do you call it? The other one, Light of Soul, isn't even run in Prism, I don't believe. So the block cards with 3 effect, yeah. If I had a block card that was just a block 4, that's rad, right? Like if we looked at cards with block, that heavy block. So this, for instance, which is funny because this is actually the promo that comes out of the Heavy Hitters TCG bundle. In Test of Strength, 0 for 4 block, or it's not 0, it's just a block card that allows you to clash, and if you win, you get a gold. Block 4, right? Test of Might is the same way. Wall of Meat and Muscle is 3. So all the tests, so Test of Strength, Might, and Agility, and Vigor are all block 4s. These are the ones that you're going to want to keep in your deck if you need to block. Especially if you're playing in... well, really anything, but like, because at this point it doesn't even matter. Like if you don't win the clash, it's whatever. It's the fact that you can block 4. Like if Betsy's coming in for 11 and you can block 8 of that with 2 cards and lose some clashes, and it is what it is. Yep, they're monocolor. Yep, just reds. This one's interesting, though, right? Because this gets plus X while defending, where X is twice the number of clashes you won this turn. So, like, Boast might be a concept that you can run in something like Victor or Betsy or something. So... I don't think, and that's the thing, I don't think D-Reacts are better. I think it's just because these don't have as much of like a purpose, right? Most people's decks are like all attacks and actions, and then there's like a couple D-Reacts. this is a block for 4 from hand, not having to pay anything, and a value out of that other than just sinking. So, because what you can block with is, like, you can block with a 4 against a Command and Conquer, right? You can play this into a Command and Conquer and block 4, as opposed to a D-React where you can't play D-Reacts into Command and Conquer. So if you commit a block because your opponent's coming in with Command and Conquer somehow, now you have more value coming out of it because you can just block with a card from hand and do that. But yeah, that's the thing. I believe with these block cards, right, all these clashes, these block cards are going in Victor. Victor is going to be Fatigue. I wouldn't be surprised if that's what people play in Limited, especially if you get a lot of these block cards, because then you can just block 4, clash, win the clash, and if you lose a clash, you can just pop a gold and win a clash, and then I'm pretty sure you get what? You get and then you can also draw a card if you clash, if you do Test of Strength, right? Yeah. Test of Strength. Whoops, I spelled strength wrong. Yep, you get a gold. So you block with it, you win a clash, you get a gold, you draw a card. All on your opponent's turn. That's why I think this is going to be a great thing to pick up if you're going to get the Heavy Hitters TCG bundle. So, but that's what I mean. It's there's a lot of synergy with the cards in here, and they synergize. I think that's the other thing too. They synergize well with a bunch of other heroes, but they also really bring these heroes like something to do, right? There's something going on with these heroes. I wanted to get a little bit into the generics because they're kind of interesting, right? Obviously, generics are, and you know what? Actually, before we get into that, I just want to go over like a whole set. Okay, so if this ends up being its own video, I apologize for how long this takes. But I want to go over the whole set. I'm not going to talk about the Fabled yet because we don't know, but the Fabled is probably going to be something to do with gold. This is my predictions. It's either going to be something to do with gold, like you pitch it and you create a gold, or you go, or it's going to be like Plague Hive, where you randomly get an agility, might, or vigor token. And it'll be like a, I don't know, it'll be like a beer or something. Like it'll be a gem, but it'll be like a beer you drink, or some kind of like a trophy, maybe even like the trophy of the arena, of the deathmatch arena, and you get to create a might, vigor, or agility token. So I don't know. That's my assumption, but we'll see probably later today. So let's go top to bottom, right? We don't need to talk about the heroes. We already know a little about the heroes. Mandible Claw, these, okay, so Brute, right? Mandible Claw is a great one in here because obviously it's a very good card for KO. It gets to get go again if you discard a card with 6 or more, and you certainly will be. So very powerful. Then we have the new cards, Ball Breaker and Mini Meat Axe. Let's just say big ups to everybody who... Mandible Claw is a token weapon. Yes, that is the token weapon. So that is the move there. So they moved Mandible Claw from rare to token. So that is very interesting there. But obviously, KO can only use 1. Rhinar can use 2, but there's no Blood Rush Bellows or anything in here, so it's not like it's a worry. Ball Breaker, super fun weapon, right? This is a great way to end your turn because you get to pay 2 and it comes in for 4, or you get to pay 2 and it comes in with go again, right? So depending on what your move is, if you're trying to go wide or you're trying to go tall, most cases with Brute, you're trying to go tall. So Ball Breaker tends to be the better move. Ball Breaker also is a one-handed weapon, so it can be the choice for KO. Although it's a rare, which means that you're going to have to pull it if you want to play it. Mini Meat Axe. If you have an agility token, this is fine because it allows you to draw and discard and get any other effect that you might have. But in most cases, you're which we'll see, the cards you play will allow you to draw and then discard. So you'll, or at least find some way to discard. So mini meat axe it's okay, but I don't think it's like the best. I think if anything, you could probably, if you have an agility token, you can play mini meat axe, then you can play mandible claw, then you can do something else. This will come in for 6. But at that point, you're better off just doing this, because at some point you're going to discard a card for like beat chest or something of the sort. So Apex Bonebreaker, very interesting card. I'm not sure. It seems brutes love this because it's block 3. Like you get temper, and then if it defends together with a card with 6 or more, you create a might token. So you get to pump your next attack, and then you also have block 3 and an arm piece. Obviously, I'm not sure whether or not, I think with all the agility stuff that's happening in Brute right now, people are going to move away from a Scab Skins playstyle, and they're going to make it more of an aggressive, like, yeah, I'm definitely going to be able to get go again on things turn. So this card is certainly a lot of value, especially because obviously temper, huge. But anytime you defend with this card and a 6 or more, you get a might token. That means that at least for 2 turns, you're going to be able to have a +1 to your next attack. And sometimes those breakpoints, especially when you use this towards the end of the game, those breakpoints become a lot more important. So true. Yeah. Yeah, the Scab Skin, I mean, it's still bad because it's Battleborn 2. Like, the card's good. I don't know whether or not you could play anything else, or if there's something else that they might want to play. Maybe something like Time Skippers. I don't know. We'll see. Knuckle. Okay, so let's talk about these here. These are the specialization headpieces. Knucklehead seems really, really fun. But my God, could this suck? Like, this could suck really bad. I would say this is something that you want to try to block early in the game with it, so you can get the 2 value off of it. And then you can activate its ability to destroy it. You can block with it super good. Like 3 block is very powerful, but you don't want, I just realized that now, of course, the sun is gone for some reason. So I'll turn on the light so you guys can see me. Not that you're here for me. I just wanted to see my face a little bit better. So Knucklehead it blocks for 3, which is huge. Brute, right? Block for 3, rare equipment. Temper in Clash is huge. Temper in Commoner is huge, especially for Brute. So KO, of course, this can also be used in other KO as well. So that is also an option. But Knucklehead, very cool. I like the concept of it changing your base intellect. But again, it's one of those ones where, like, if you roll 3, 2, or 1, you roll a 3 or 2 or 1, you're like screwed on your next turn. But if you roll a 4, 5, or a 6, you're okay. And of course, you can play ready to roll if this is like your method, but this is very much so it's a good blocking card. The effect probably wouldn't be the reason why you'd play it. Now, Monstrous Veil, on the other hand, is pretty good because it's Battle Worn 1. This is way better than Bone Vizier. It's Battle Worn 1, and you get to, at any point, you can destroy this and immediately get a Intimidate trigger. So you can start off the turn with an Intimidate trigger, and then go into the rest of your stuff with like Alpha Rampages and so on and so forth. If you're playing, anything that's got, well, I guess Alpha Rampages is the specialization, so you could do that for Clash. Like Blitz and CC, very, very powerful headpiece. I like it a lot. I think it's very, very good. I like that it's battle worn too, which means you still get to block one and then do something else. Raw meat, very interesting. This is the common. That's also, yeah, this is also a rare headpiece. This is a common chess piece, raw meat. So this is probably one of the ones you're going to come across in your packs. You do have these are very, very weird because if you control an agility token, it gets +1. If you control a might token, it gets +1. So it's got temper, which means that you can play things to get agility and might tokens. Obviously, you can almost guarantee a might token on KO. On Rhinar, it might not be that way, but on KO, you're at least able to do a little something there. And so it'd at least have temper 1, but like the agility token, you also have to make sure to play things like lead with speed, and so on and so forth. Because if you play lead with speed, and then even maybe lead with might, or lead with power, that will get you any of these to +1 in here. But obviously it's got temper, so eventually you want to use this on the best moments that you have for those decks. It's very situational, but I do like the fact that there's temper at the common level for each of their classes. So yeah, exactly. Yeah, with the drinks, the stout of strength and strong or whatever the hell, and then there's the blood run wine, and then we'll get to the brute guardian or the brute one. So very cool, right? I mean, I like that you get to see temper, and you're going to see temper in limited, which is huge. So you don't normally see temper in limited. Then packing, very powerful brute card from what I know. It's a 3 yellow. It's blocks 3, comes in for 6, so already on rate for what brutes want. And then when it attacks a hero, doesn't have to hit, attacks a hero, banish a card from their arsenal. And then when the chain link resolves, if this didn't hit, return it to its owner's hand. That is wild to me, because yeah, they'll have an extra card in hand, but you know, you're going to make this hit. Like, this is going to hit. You just need 1 damage to go off, and it stays banished forever. So you're going to make this hit. The point is to make this hit. And I think this card is insane, right? I think it's very, very cool. Very on rate. We talked about Show No Mercy a little bit, I think, already, but obviously it's a Rhino special. This is just Alpha Rampage, but they have to have no cards in their hand, essentially. So yeah, exactly. It's a brute CNC. So now not only are they going to be running CNC, but now they're going to be running send packing, which is very, very huge. It's not going to be a lot of people who are going to be able to like keep arsenal stuff. I think it's very good against Rangers. I think it's crazy against ninjas. It's just going to be good. It's going to be really, really good. Show No Mercy, of course, it's Alpha Rampage, but they have to have no cards in hand for it to get the same attack power as Alpha Rampage. Very cool still, though. Another specialization for Rhinar. Can't really hate on that. This card, god dang it, am I so mad, because I really want to play this in Clash, but I understand why I can't, because this is crazy. This card alone is able to get you, I mean, on average, you're probably looking at like three or four value or might tokens out of this. But the fact that if you're playing KO and you run nothing but 5 and plus attack actions, this could be revealed 6 cards, all 6s, because KO gets the +1 if they're all attack actions, and get 6 might tokens and then an agility token. So you get to play your next card on your turn, pop them in, pop a card, play like a freaking, I don't know. I mean, shoot, you can even do it with something like this. Like, you play Cast Bones, you play something like a Rhinar specialization. I mean, Rhinar obviously not being KO, but like your odds are still pretty good. This is insane. Because then this will come in for like 12 and then go again. I just think that's really, really wild. I think the value of this is huge. I definitely think, and it costs 0 to play. Now, of course, there's no go again, right? So this is you got to play this kind of at the end. You have no arsenal, block 2 cards, play this arsenal, and attack it. Yeah, exactly. I think, oh God, it's just so good. I think this card is really, really gonna. This is the card that I think every brute's gonna play. More specifically, definitely KO. I think KO is definitely playing this card because like it's just so good. This, on the other hand, I don't love it. Obviously, KO still wants to roll dice, apparently, but this does not do much. This is Scab Skins on a card, so it costs you at 1 value, right? Because Scab Skins you don't have to pay anything for. This is Scab Skin at home, but this you have to play the card, and then you have to hope that you get a 6, because 5 is fine, but now you're down to like, you know, if you played this from Arsenal, you have 2 action points, which is great, but there are so many agility tokens in the game that 2 actions is, or there's so many ways to create agility tokens in the game now that doing 2 actions is super easy. 3 actions, you have to have the cards for that and the resources to play that. Do I think this is worth it? It's only worth it if you're also running Ready to Roll. And if you're running to Ready to Roll, you're like, at that point, that's 2 cards that now you have to play. You have to play Ready to Roll, and then you have to play Reckless Charge. Take away the lower value, and even if you roll a 5, you still only have 2 action points. So I don't think it's worth it. But I understand, they had to make it, right? It is what it is. No Fear. This card, on the other hand, really good. Obviously, you essentially just get a Oasis Respite that you get to banish them, and at the beginning of your end phase, return to your hand. You get to intimidate yourself to then take all, if you would be dealt damages, to prevent X of that damage, where X is 2 plus the number of cards banished to play this. So you could banish 5 for Aether Ice Vein. So it'll be, you can banish 3 for Aether Ice Vein, block that out, and then use a blue to block out the Waning Moon if you wanted to. I think it's good for Overpower as well, obviously, being able to block out that Overpower stuff by just putting the cards in your hand and using them for different values. Because this way, if you're only able to block 1 card with Overpower, one action with Overpower, you can then use the rest of your possible actions in your hand, or your attack actions more specifically, banish them, be able to use them for an Oasis Respite effect without the life gain. So kind of cool. Beast Mode, we've seen this in the Rhino vs. Dorinthia decks, Dorinthia vs. Rhino Classic battles, except it's Rainbow now. I think originally it was only available in Yellow. I think Yellow was the only one it was available in that deck, and now there's Rainbow of it, so pretty cool. Pack Call, another reprint here. When this defends, reveal the top card of your deck. If it has 6 or more power, put it on the bottom, or put it on the top. Otherwise, put it on the bottom. 3 for 7 blocks 3. I mean, it is what it is. I think this is good in KO because you get it to be a 6, and then you can block it and see what you're going to get on the top. Rawhide Rumble. This card has already been revealed for quite some time, but Beat Chest, super good. You get to intimidate a hero if you beat Chest. So you can pay 6 or pay 2, attack for 6, pitch a 6, or even a 5 that could be a 6 in KO. Have this, then intimidate. So now you're playing 6, and I have 1 less card in hand. With Rhinar, it's super good too, because then you can intimidate and then intimidate, leaving them with less cards to block with. Then Assault and Battery. This is a new card. Beat Chest. When this attacks, if you beat in Chest this turn, create an agility token. Pretty good. I mean, it triggers. I think it's nice because it's a may ability. It's not a must ability. So theoretically, if you're just trying to use your resources differently, you don't have to drop that card from hand. But if you But if you feel that it's necessary to do that, you can go ahead and do that there. Bear Fangs is a reprint. Pretty good, because if you have an agility token and you play this could come in for like 8. Which is rad. We'd love seeing that. Wild Ride is a reprint. This, of course, again, gets Go again, and it could get +1 from might tokens. You're not really going to want... You can use this on the agility token, but like in most cases, you're going to be getting Go again, so not exactly a wasted agility token, because like it pops anyway, but you might want to like play a card that isn't Wild Ride, and then play Wild Ride, and then attack with a weapon. The fact that you can just casually get like 3 attacks in Brute as of right now is huge. Bonebreaker Bellow, another good beat chest card. I mean, +5 on the red if you've beaten chest. So that's huge value. Smashback Ailhorn, this is the Brute drink. So you create agility and a might token. So if you play this, and then that means that next turn you'll have raw meat be able to block for 2 temper. So, and luckily it's only when the combat chain closes if it has 0, destroy it. So it won't have 0 when the combat chain closes. It'll have 0 when you pop those might and vigor tokens, or might and agility tokens. So that is good to know. All right, so that's everything for Brute, or just strictly Brute. There's other hybrid cards in the set too, so we'll go over those. Now we're going to move on to Guardian, right? We know what the heroes do. Betsy, such a freaking good card. Betsy's going to be so crazy. I think Betsy's going to be very, very good. I think Betsy's going to be the reason why a lot of people play block cards, is because, like, how do you stop this, right? How do you stop this madness from happening? You can play things like freaking, we'll go over them, but like you play things that give your Guardian attacks wager, come in with a choke slam for like 11, and then pay 2 to give it overpower. So now it's you give it the wager of a might token, you give it +5 from an aura, and then you come in with an 11 choke slam with overpower. Like, how do you block out the crush? How do you block out the wager? How do you block out any of that without having block cards or like a ton of D-reacts? So, or unless you're a wizard. And wizards can block that out theoretically, but like you're not getting a turn at that point then. Very cool. Let's take a look at the weapons. This is apparently Betsy's weapon. Betsy did not get her little whatever this is here. Everybody thought this like tree log was going to be Betsy's weapon. Apparently Betsy did not actually get a specialization weapon, which is very sad times, but I guess it is what it is, right? If you've drawn a card this turn, this gets +1. I don't know how often Betsy is drawing cards. I don't know how often. I mean, obviously, if she wins gold, she can do that. But at that point, you're really not doing much there. It's really rough, too, because like you could just choose to play Miller's Grindstone because it's a 4 attack instead of a 3. But this also has a downside of if you lose a clash, you get a -1 counter on it. But most of your attacks, I think I'd probably just stick with High Riser. And then if you happen to have drawn a card, you can do that. Let's talk about Victor's specialization of his shield. Very thematic, very on point. Card's probably not going to be worth a lot unless Victor ends up becoming like the best hero in the game, because it does count as a gold. But I don't believe you can pitch to it like a gold. Can you? Maybe you can. Pay 2, destroy it to draw a card. But I think it counts as a gold in name only. I'd have to check the rules when that all comes out. And the reason being is because essentially you can destroy gold to win clashes with Victor. So I assume it's kind of like if you have no gold left, you can always destroy your golden shield and be able to win a clash doing that if you just have nothing left. Stonewall Impasse is another clash blocking card. If it defends, clash with the attacking hero. If it wins, this gets +1 till the end of turn. It's got temper. So you can win a clash. It'll block for 2. Get a -1 counter on it, and then you can do it again, but you have to win the clash. Gauntlets of Iron Will is very interesting. When this defends, next time an attack would gain power this chain link, instead it gains that much +/-1. This is very cool because if you block with this and a attack action into a Centauri Saber, it actually doesn't get that +1 from the what do you call it? From the Centauri Saber effect. So very, very cool to see. Obviously, this would not work into something like Might tokens, because Might tokens pop initially beforehand and then give it that +1 when you play it, as opposed to during the block step, right? When damage calculated and everything is such. Golden Glare, another Victor specialization. So like pretty much most of these out of the headpieces, every Guardian's probably going to run. It's going to be very, very awkward because this is a Victor specialization and this is a Betsy specialization, which means there's no, like, obviously other than the generics, which you're probably going to see more of, these are very much so specific for the hero, and you're going to want to run them if you are playing that hero. I think Golden Glare is very cool. The card is absolutely gorgeous. And you get to create a gold if it blocks with 2 or more yellow cards. So, you know, if you're big blocking into some big attack, you'll be good to go from there. So I might need to let light in now. That's a little bit better. Okay. Again, Good Time Chapeau. It's just so good. If you are playing Betsy, you have to, I hope you pull this card. It's a Betsy specialization. In action, destroy a gold you control. Your next attack this turn gets when this attacks a hero, wager a Might and a Vigor token with them, and then go again. It's got Temper. And then, of course, like I said, this, almost all the other ones have a gets destroyed when using the ability kind of deal. This does not at all. And this is very, very cool. The fact that you just get to, you'll be wagering stuff all throughout and getting a whole bunch of gold tokens, and then you can just destroy a gold token and then have this get more wager abilities, right? So, and it's your next attack, so you can do this on your weapon, you can do this on a big attack that doesn't have wager, or you can even give it additional wager abilities on the one. So, very powerful. I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. Stand Ground, this is just like raw meat, but for Guardians on their legs. It's got Temper, and it'll get a +1 defense for every, or if you have a Might or a Vigor token. So important to have those there. That works well with that drink, the pint of stout and strength. Bet big. Obviously, if you pull this card in Betsy, you got to play Betsy. Insane. It's already got wager. So you can just pay the 4, pay 2 more, give it +1 and overpower. Card's cracked. Love it. Prime to Fight. This is if you control the Vigor token this turn, this costs 1 less to play. So theoretically, if you controlled a Vigor token this turn, this costs 1 less to play. Which means that even at the beginning of your turn, you could, it'll pop, right, a Vigor token. And then, because it doesn't say you have to own one right now, but if you've at any point controlled a Vigor token this turn, which even at the beginning of your game, your starting phase, I do believe that still counts as you owning the token. So when it's destroyed, you get the one resource from Vigor, and then you get -1 from this again because you owned a Vigor at some point. So this will cost 3 in most cases. And then if you controlled a Might token, this gets +1. So this could, if you controlled a Vigor and a Might token at the beginning of your turn, right? Let's say you played that Stout of Strong and Stout. Both those get destroyed. This will be a 3 for 10. No, I'm sorry, 3 for 11. A 3 for 11 Majestic that you could theoretically put a wager on. And that is wild to me. I don't know how, it's very situational, obviously, even though, it's a 5. It could very well be 3. Utilize that for other things, so very powerful. Golden Sun, Victor specialization, obviously, it gets you gold when you reveal it for a clash. Super powerful, because I believe, what did he say? If you draw a card, you get gold, or if you've drawn a card, if you get gold, draw a card. So very powerful into if you reveal it during a clash, you get to draw a card because you will create a gold. Super huge. It also, of course, has overpower. You can destroy gold to get +3 in overpower, so it'll come in for 10 overpower, plus any other boosts you give it. Boast is the block card for Guardian. Based on the number of clashes you win, you're going to run this in Victor, but you're probably not going to run it in Betsy. Trounce, when this defends, clash with the attacking hero, put the revealed cards on the bottom of their owner's deck, then clash again. Again, another great card for Victor, because Victor's going to want to block. And if a hero wins both clashes, they create a gold, might, and vigor token. So Victor wants to win clashes. He can destroy gold to win clashes, or to attempt clashes again. This one, you have to win 2 in a row to get these abilities. But even if you just win 1, that's fine. Because you don't get anything for clashing. You just get something if you win both. So, very cool. But it does cycle out both heroes' cards. So, very interesting. These 3 tower cards were originally in the Brevant deck for Classic Constructed, or for the Clarion Community College. And seeing them all back is very, very... I didn't think I'd see them in here, but I guess with the amount of buffs that you can get with Guardian, it is very probable that this ends up happening, because this is 8 already. So if you can play the bigger than big, red, it'll get +5 to this. And then you can just play 4, you can pitch for 4, attack with a Colossal Bearing, comes in for 13. And it gets, when this hits a hero, destroying equipment they control with 1 or less defense. So... concept is there for Colossal Bearing. Lay down the law is the same. Non-equipment cards get -1 while defending this, so this is super big. Obviously, you're going to need a little bit more than 5, so you're going to probably need to buff this and then have the Guardian or bigger than big pop to do that. Smack of Reality, same deal. This one's a 9, costs 5. Obviously, it can cost less if you have Vigor. And then, when this hits a hero, destroy all aura tokens they control. I don't believe gold is aura. I believe vigor. I'm going to check. I think the vigor, might, and all that stuff is an aura token. Yeah, vigor, might, and agility are all aura tokens. So that is that's important for like screwing them over on those turns, but not super worth it. I think Colossal Bearing is probably the better one to have, because this can actually destroy any of their other stuff. So, and it's a rare. The only thing limiting Victor and is gold generation at this point. I haven't checked to see how much you can theoretically make. Well, so if he creates a gold, he draws a card. There are things like Starting Stake that you can play that literally, if you have no gold tokens, create a gold token. There is, what do you call it? There is all the wage golds, and Test of Strength is a clash that makes you gold. That it's a block card that allows you to clash, and then if you win, you get to make a gold. So very cool. Yeah, Smack of Reality. Yeah, you can handle Prism a little easier because you can get rid of all their aura tokens. But I mean, that's fun. I think it's a fun thing. Over the Top, this is a rare, only printed, well, it's got a rainbow version of itself, right? They're all rainbow. These are also only in red. Only red for these. Over the Top, power greater than its base, it gets overpower. This is just Thump without the discard ability, and it has overpower instead of Dominate. Not super great, but it is pretty good, because if it's got greater power, but that's the thing, if it's got greater power than its base, it probably has Wager, which means that theoretically you can just save your resources from the Betsy ability, and it'll already have overpower. So stacked in your favor is good for, of course, playing the Fatigue strategy. Your attack action cards get +3 while defending, and at the start of your turn, destroy this, draw a card, then put a card from your hand on the top of your deck. So you get to set up your clashes doing something like that. And then also you get to defend very, very well. I mean, you play this at the end of your turn, And then all your stuff gets +3 to its defense. It's crazy. Command Respect. This is a card. I can't believe this is a common. When this hits a hero, if its power is greater than its base, destroy a card in their arsenal. It's going to be greater than its base. You're going to play this with stuff greater than its base. Command Respect is freaking huge. And destroying a card in their arsenal is going to be very, very powerful. You're going to see that in play in like CC probably for sure, because it's just good. And if you don't see it in play in CC, you're definitely going to see it in play in Commoner and Clash. Concuss, also very good. When this hits a hero, if its power is greater than its base, they discard a card. This is just like Thump. You can give it overpower with Betsy's ability. And then, of course, when they have to discard a card, that's super huge. Thunk is a Clash. Whenever you win a Clash revealing this, create a Might token. So this is super powerful to have if you care about clashing, because you just will create a Might. The same deal is with Wallop. Wallop is another one that lets you make a Vigor when you clash. So Thunk and Wallop are going to be good cards to have for Victor for clashing. Probably just the reds and maybe this blue Thunk for 6. But, it is what it is. Big Bop, another common. At the start of your turn, destroy this. And your next Guardian attack when this attack this turn gets +5. When it hits a hero, you may wager a Vigor token with them. This is just bigger than big, but with Vigor instead of Might. Powerful. Card's powerful. Super good. They block for 2, but a +5 to your stuff for red, very strong. And Pint of Strong and Stout, this is their drink. So I don't know how much play this might get, but it is very powerful if you're trying to set up your next turn for something, just to get another Might and a Vigor. Make something cost 1 less, and then give it an additional +1 power. And it's great because it'll give it +1 power. That also turns on all this stuff like this. When this hits a hero, if it has greater power than its base, so this will come in for 7. Command Respect will come in for 7. Over the Top will come in for 7. So it'll have that buff there outside of Betsy's ability if you wanted to give it Betsy's ability stuff. So very powerful. All right, that's Guardians, right? Guardians doing Guardian things, very, very cool. Warriors are where we get a little bit more interesting, right? I like a lot of the stuff that's coming in for Warrior, but I'm not sure if these are very powerful Majestics. Clash, I'm seeing a lot of stuff for Clash even still. Commoner is even getting some pretty crazy stuff into it also. Like this card is just so freaking good. The only thing is that it's very much so telegraphed, right? I think Hot Streak is telegraphed to all high hell because obviously you want them to block with something that isn't an attack action. So that is good because most actions only block for 2. So you can block with anything and prevent the go again. But in most cases, you're playing cards that give your weapons go again anyway. So there's a contingency plan for it, but it is great because you essentially have to force them to block with something that they could have used to pump their attacks in their next turn. So Parry Blade, very cool concept, being able to defend with a weapon. Obviously, it's a last-ditch effort scenario. I do think it is very cool to see. I'm not sure how much use it's going to get, but I do think it is cool. If you're trying to do a defensive, an offense and then a defense kind of deal, right? Making you the best of both worlds kind of deal. I do like that. Grains of Blood Spill. Grains of Blood Spill. I think this card is really, really good. Obviously, I don't know. I don't play enough Guardian or I play enough Warrior to know, but if you hit, you can pay 1 floating resource, which in most cases, apparently a lot of Warriors have floating resources. You get to create a Vigor token, which of course then gets you a free resource on your next turn, which is very good. Really discounts a lot of the stuff. Sometimes you only really need that 1 resource to continue doing really, really well on your turn. So it sounds like it's going to do very well. Obviously, Temper is fantastic too, so it's really good. Okay, Yeah. I figured as much. I figured it was going to be that good because, I mean, it is being able to create that Vigor token and have that free resource on your next turn. It's going to help pay for attack reacts better. It's going to help pay for, cards to make your go agains a little bit more on point. So I think this card is definitely going to see a lot of play. Especially in decks that care about vigor, right, or care about those extra resources. Maybe they play attack actions, right, and they want additional resources to play those attack actions instead of just attacking with weapons. It's very good in there. Prize Galea is an Olympia specialization. See, other than his attack react, this is the only other Olympia specialization. It's good. Run this in Olympia. You pretty much have to. It's got temper block 2, so it blocks for 3. And then you can pay 1 to destroy this, and target weapon you control wagers a gold token. Very powerful. You'd love to see adding wagers onto his stuff, because when he wins a wager on an attack, he gets a gold token. So being able to get possibly 2 gold tokens here, you also get to pump it with his reaction, giving it another wager, because it'll get plus Y, what's the number of times it has wagered. So that's very good. Hood of the Red Sand. Not sure whether or not I'm in love with this card, because it's a nice Kasai specialization. Pay 1, banish a red and yellow from your grave, just like you would with her actual ability, except it's just 1 red and yellow as opposed to 2 red and yellow. And it will have target sword attack gains when this hits, draw a card. So only 1 sword will get this ability. You'll be able to pop that in, swing with it, and possibly get a draw card effect. It's an attack reaction too, so you have that option during the attack reaction step. If you feel like you're going to hit, you'll be able to get to draw a card, which means your next sword will more than likely will be costing 1 less to attack with when you do something like this. So it's great for limited play. Don't know how well it's going to do in actual play, but it is very, very good for the low budget formats too. What's up, Twiddler? How are you, man? How are things? We're going over the new set for Flesh and Blood, just kind of talking it top to bottom. So you're just coming in, catching us up, looking at some of the stuff here, going over that. There's also, fun fact, I know if you want to talk business, Flesh and Blood just got some really good news in regards to like print run stuff. So it is very cool to see that LSS is working on making sure that print runs are pretty consistent, and they're really cracking down on making sure they don't have like an absolutely insane print run, and that it's really strictly to demand, and anything that they have left over is going to be shredded. So very cool that they're really working on making sure that there's a very limited style of print run for things. But obviously we'll know more about that later. So yeah, you got to buy a case of Bright Lights. Bright Lights good. It's good for limited play. I don't know how many people actually love the set, but to play Mechanology, if you've never played Mechanologist before, it's a fun thing to open. Cards are very cool. Seems like such a waste. Well, I mean, hey, that they're printing everything to demand as far as I know. But they're keeping a little bit extra stock, so that way they don't have to be like, oh, we ran out. We wait like a month while we print more cards. So there's still product out there, but they're basing all of their stuff based on the market. They shredded a whole bunch of Everfest Unlimited is not a thing that's happening. So there is not going to be any Everfest Unlimited. All the Everfest Unlimited they had, besides 11 cases, has been shredded because they don't believe the market needs it. And that is super huge for the general populace of Everfest First Edition. So pretty cool to see that. But I mean, hey, they've been shredding their stuff for a while. I think they've made it very known that they are not afraid to shred their stuff. You look at the gold foil extended art tunics. Those are they shredded those to make sure that there weren't as many in circulation. I mean, it's their company. They get to do what they want with it, right? especially since all the cards are readily available on the market. So like, it's not like you need to, it's not like it's like, oh God, like you got to do this. Anyway, back to this. Back in Applause, this is just the same. This is like raw meat and stand ground for warriors. You get to, you get temper on it based on how much, or based on what tokens you control. Blade Flurry. This is, some people calling this Rain Razors, but for warriors, because you get to play it as an attack reaction for 0. The target weapon gets +2, and then the next weapon attack this turn gets +2 as well. Very cool for the double sword wielding attacks, but it also is really good for Dorinthia because target weapon attack gets +2, and then your next weapon attack gets +2 as well. So you get to keep that +2, add it on to whatever attack reactions you end up popping onto those as well. Not sure if it's going to see play, but it is a very cool card. Shift the Tide of Battle is a card that I think is just insane for something like Dorinthia, or even really Kasai just generally, because if it's got greater power than its base, which in most cases it will because you're going to pump it during the attack reaction step, or even with Dorinthia with it getting counters, it'll get Go Again. So you get to give it Go Again. It's a 0, Go Again, block 3, yellow card. And then the next time an opposing hero is dealt damage this turn, create an agility token. Now, it doesn't really matter to stack agility tokens, because like you only get 1 Go Again, but even just allowing you to give the Go Again on your next turn, you can swing with Dawnblade and it'll have Go Again by itself, and then you get to pump it with stuff from your hand, and then get that extra damage in. I think Shift the Tide of Battle is going to be a card that a lot of people are going to be playing. This card is probably going to have a pretty high premium. So, Yama, what do you think, right? You play Warrior. This card, does this like seem absolutely cracked to you? Or do you think it's not going to see a ton of play? I personally don't know, but I wouldn't be surprised. I guess I just would not be surprised. Staple. All right, that's what I figured. So that's what I figured. Definitely staple. I think the card is very, very good. Up the ante. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you have to guarantee the Go Again with the agility weapons, and it gives the weapon innate Go Again. Like, it's not conditional, even though technically it is, but like in most cases, you get that condition. So it's Go Again. Like, very, very good. Up the ante, we were talking about this earlier. This is just Olympia specialization. You can pump it for every single wager with its final choice, but you just pitch a blue to this, and you get all 3 abilities, or all 4 abilities, and so that's +3 to your weapon, and then it gets to do all this here. You can combo it with Double Down, which we'll see later, which is very, very good to double those tokens and really get a huge amount of value out of it. Doesn't feel specifically weapon. It's all attacks. Exactly. Right. It is all attacks. Yeah. Target warrior attack. So it's good with Bolton. It's good with Bolton. It's good with Kasai. It's good with Atari Sellsword. It's good with Dorinthia. All of them love it. Commanding Performance. This is a new Majestic for Warrior. Absolutely, yeah. It is yellow. It's a Screaming Bolton card. I would not be surprised if it gets played in Bolton. Card's just, it's good. And everything's going to be pumped in Bolton, too. Because Bolton wants his stuff to have more power. Because then he can give it Go Again, right? So, not to mention that Bolton does that, like, innately anyway. So, next warrior attack this turn gets +3 until end of turn. Your warrior attacks get when this is defended by 1 or more attack action cards. Destroy a card in the defending hero's arsenal. Super huge. Again, it cares a lot about attack action cards. This is probably going to make it so block cards have more value in what they do. But, I mean, if this goes against a ninja, like Ninja's got a lot of attack action cards. So this is a very, very good staple to put in for ninjas, because you can just go, okay, cool. You like that card in your arsenal. I'm very happy for you. I'm going to attack you with this. And it's all of your warrior attacks. Until the end of your turn, your warrior attacks get when this is defended by one or more attack action cards. So anything you put into the chain, right? 2 weapon attacks, or you get 2 Dawnblade attacks, or anything that Bolton plays in specific to it, anything Olympia plays in succession to one another, they all get, when it's defended by one or more attack action cards, destroyed. Your odds of destroying Arsenal is super good in here. And it costs 1. Crazy. I think the card is really, really good. It's great against heroes with, it's great against going against Rangers as well. I just think it's going to command a lot. Obviously, commanding performance is going to do very well into those things. So expect that. Raise an army size specialization. We all know what this does already. You get to freaking make guys. You get to make dudes. Card is insane. Play it with 3 or more gold tokens, and Kasai is going to be able to just kind of go off. And unless your opponent's a ninja, you're going to be able to kind of swarm the board, because these Centauri sellswords that she makes do not have Phantasm. And the only thing you need to do is attack with a weapon to attack with the Centauri sellswords. So it's going to take a while for things like Guardians or other classes to sweep the board. They're going to have to avoid you to attack these sellswords, because that's just a lot of power. It's like max 2 and probably also sideboard. Yeah. I think max 2 is fine. You don't want to draw into this early, so having them put away. But playing this into something like Dromai, super crazy, because you get on-hit abilities for attacking dragons, and then you can just attack. You can just attack the sellswords, or attack with the sellswords into the dragons as well. It lets you to go wide into. I think it's going to be crazy. I don't know how the resource, because obviously you have to pay 1 to attack with each of these sellswords, so you have to have the resources for it. I don't know. I think it's going to be interesting, but it's definitely going to be like late game play. It's like, okay, I've exhausted all of my other resources with my weapons, all my red attack reactions and attack buffs, or weapon buffs and all that stuff. Now I have like 5 gold, 4 gold, and then you can just pop it and go, okay, cool. Now my turn is attack with weapon, give it go again, swing with sellswords, right? So yeah, it's going to be nice. So I think it's definitely a win. It's a nice late game play, but that's why you're not going to want to run 3, because it's a late game play. So, So eventually, I think we'll see a lot more of it, but I'm not sure whether or not it's going to be like worth that shot at the moment. We'll see how it plays out. I still think that's insane, though. Unphantasmed allies, they're good. Cut the deck. This is a new rare warrior attack reaction. Target warrior attack gets +3. If it's defended by an attack action card, draw a card, then put a card from your hand or arsenal on the bottom of your deck. You get to Crown of Seeds. You got a +3 to your attack, and you have to, if it's defended by an attack, like, card's good. Card's very, very good. Very good. Because obviously you get to have this in your hand, and you get to see, okay, cool, are they blocking with an attack action? Use this. If they're not blocking with an attack action, reprise. Like, you get something out of it. Card's very good. Card's very good. Not only that, but in Kasai, you also get that draw trigger, and the draw trigger means that your sellswords now, or not your sellswords, your Centauri Sabers, or your sword attacks are now free. So you get to swing with those. Very cool. Or they cost 1 less. I should stop saying that they are free, because they're not really free, but that's what I mean. Card's very good. Fatal Engagement. Play this only if an attack action card is defending this chain link. Target attack gets +5. Very situational, again, but +5. Like, most people really only care about +3, because that's normally what the buff is for. I mean, Overpower comes in for a little bit more, but Overpower also costs 3 to play. This costs 2 to play, blocks for 3, and target attack gain +5 play, but it's only if an attack action card is defending this chain link, which at some point is going to have to be the case. So you get some nice value out of that, I think. I think that's a nice card. I don't know what it would change out for, but it is pretty good. Yeah. It's a better Stroke of Foresight, really. Yeah. I mean, it's Stroke of Foresight guarantees that it's reprise is anything from hand. So you get that trigger, but Cut the Deck is specific to attack action cards only, but that's fine. At some point, some people are going to block with their attack actions, and they're just going to have to take that hit. Fatal Engagement probably too expensive and conditional. Yellow probably worth testing. Yeah, yellow might be worth it because you get the value of the pitch. It does block for 3, and then of course you get the +4, which is still overvalue for what Warrior needs to get over that hump there. But not sure. It's definitely going to be testing, but what would you take out, right, is really the case. Yeah. Yeah, both of these are great for Kasai because you want reds and yellows, but I'm not sure if it's worth it there. Take the Upper Hand is good. What a sick art with the sword coming through I think it's an axe coming through and slicing off this guy's finger. Like, crazy. It's definitely an Olympiad card because it cares about wagers. So, a 0 for 3 wager, right? But, you know, it still only is +3. So you're not going to want to play blue, probably. You might want to play red, but it's a 0 for 3 at that point. You might even be better off just still playing Iron Song Response. But I don't know. Could be the case. I don't know. Like I said, I don't know enough about Warrior for me to be like, this is just great. Agile Engagement. Target Warrior tank gets +3 if it's defended by an attack action card, create an agility token. This is super good because, again, you get to see whether or not it's blocked by an attack action card, so you can save this and then pump it with that to make sure that you're getting go again on your next attack next turn. It only costs 1. Very good. Vigorous Engagement, same deal, but you get a Vigor token. This card is freaking cracked for Kasai. Cracked for Kasai. I don't care which one you play, right? You're probably going to want to play the blue and the red. Cracked for Kasai. You get to draw a card. I mean, I think it's probably good for anybody because, I mean, you pitch a blue, you play this, that's 2 cards. That's 2 card value for a +3 and then draw a card. So it's really just like you negate the pitching or the playing. You get to draw a card. Draw swords is just good. I mean, you probably run Rainbow. The fact that it costs 3 is very expensive, but I don't know if it's like the bee's knees. You know what I mean? It's going to need experimenting, but I do think that it's really, really good for Kasai. Again, right? And now, hear me out, right? Hear me out. Draw swords also still good for Olympia, because if you're playing things like, where the hell is the goddamn card? I missed it. We're already in Warrior. It's Brute Warrior, right? Right? We already talked. Rising Power. If you've drawn a card this turn, this gets +1. Rising Speed. If you've drawn a card this turn, this gets go again. So this, very well, pictured in with Draw Swords, you get... It costs a lot, because it's like 5, right? You get to pitch a blue for Draw Swords, draw a card, get +3 to your next attack, attack with Rising Speed, pitch 2, Rising, you draw a card, this gets go again, and then you can play Rising Rising Energy. It'll cost 1 less to play, so now this will come in for, like, that's a lot. That's a lot of damage for attack actions for Warrior. That's +3, so that's 8. 8, go again, 6 for 1. And then I think even, what was the other one? Rising Power. So you can even play this. This is 7 for 2. But these are brutes. You can't actually play that one. So only Rising Speed and Rising Energy are the ones you can play. You can't play the other one. So I think it's very good, very solid with the Rising cards. I think it's very, very cool. Because you guarantee that draw trigger. So yeah. Edge ahead. Next warrior attack this turn gets +3. When it attacks a hero, you can wager an agility token. That's going to be one you're going to want to play because you want to wager those agility tokens. It's going to be great for Olympia. Good stuff. Engage Swiftblade. I think this is a super cracked card because, again, you can see +3 defended by attack action card. This gets go again. So this, obviously things like Blade Runner are much better because it guarantees the go again, but this pumps and then can give it go again, as opposed to pumping the next card. I think Blade Runner might still be better here because this is still conditional go again, whereas Blade Runner is you get go again and then you get the buff definitely on the next card. So, but I think this blocks for Blade Runner blocked for 2. Blade Runner blocks for 3. Okay, so just kidding. So yeah, this is also specifically target one-handed attack, whereas this is next warrior attack. So good and Bolton, probably, I would say. Good and Bolton. And then you've got, but this is an action as opposed to this being the reaction step. So this is a little bit more telegraphed. Because it's telegraphed, it probably isn't going to be doing super well, but you get pumps off stuff. It is what it is. Edge ahead going to be really important in the set. Is there not a lot of go again in the set for warrior? Yeah. Well, I mean, and there's a little bit, but like it certainly is not like, I think the agility tokens are really like the way you're getting the go again as opposed to like innate go again. Low HP though, engage Swiftblade could still be good for sure. I mean, you're obviously still threatening life. Hold'em +3, wager of vigor. So this is just edge ahead, but with vigor instead of agility. And then of course, Goblet of Blood Run Wine. I think this is really cool because you can play it, create the agility and vigor, know you'll be set up for next turn, swing with 2 weapons. It's a great, like, this is a great turn 0 card because you can create those tokens, make sure that your arm pieces, your commanding performance, what the hell is the name of that card? Beck and Applause. You're guaranteeing that this has temper 2, and you get to make sure that your next turn is going to be at least a go again turn with +1. So yeah, 2 block it's unfortunate, but it is a blue. You do get to use the blue, but it is I think it's a nice setup, but I think the value is mainly for getting the go again, getting the +1, so on and so forth. Now we're going to move on to Brute Guardian stuff. You have Gauntlet of Might. Destroy this, create a Might token, go again. Blade Break, this is the common stuff you're going to be seeing. This, we don't know what rarity this is actually going to be. We're assuming this is going to be a rare or a majestic, but probably a rare. Choose a number. The next time you deal that much or more damage to a hero this turn, create that many Might tokens. Not super fantastic. I think this is very, like, I don't know. This is a fun play thing, but I don't think it's going to be played. The clashes, of course, when this defends, it's an attack, right? You can attack with it, but when it defends, you can clash, and the winner creates a Might token. Battered, Not Broken is you can prevent 2 if you do create a Might token. So this is really, really good for Guardians and Warriors, or not Guardians and Brutes, I should say, because that way you guarantee the Might token, and it is a nice prevention ability, being able to block stuff out with that. In limited. Test of Might, we've already talked about these Brute Guardian blocks. This is going to be very, very good for Victor. Not super great for anybody else, but even still, it blocks for 4, so it is very good if you were trying to block out cards. Wall of Meat and Muscle, another block card. When this defends, if you control a Might token, put an attack action card from your graveyard on top of your deck. This is good for recursion, especially if you have a Might token already. You then get to recycle cards in a limited environment. This is crazy good. Everything else, I'm not sure if it's worth it because it only just blocks for 3. Mighty Windup, these are going to be really great for brutes, more specifically, I think, because you can just discard it to create a Might token. So in KO, you can instantly discard this to create 2 Might tokens, and you get a trigger for KO for any of the, if you discarded a 6, do X thing. That's also good for even just the blue, because it is a 6. You still get to create 2 Might tokens, and then, because this happens at instant speed, create 2 Might tokens, and then you get to go in with your next ability. So very powerful there. The other thing is Rising Power. Again, you can do this if you've drawn a card. There's a lot of draw discard stuff for brutes. So this will trigger that draw ability outside of gold. This will trigger that draw ability for brutes. And then obviously Guardians will use probably the gold they wager a Might token for things. So when you have Might tokens available, this will be much, much better. And then Flat Trackers lets you make an agility, right? We're moving into the brute warrior stuff. So this is more agility based. So Runner cares about if you have an agility token already, or if this attacks, if it has go again, create an agility token. So you can, it's majestic, but if you had an agility token, it popped at the beginning of the turn, you're going to want to play this to have go again to create another agility token, which is very important. Then you can, of course, Clash of Agility, same deal as Clash with Might. If it defends, you get to Clash. If you attack with it, it does what it does. The instant discards ones, I'm not sure how they'll be. I think it'll work out great for Brute. I don't think it works for anybody else outside of like Clash numbers. Take it on the chin. This is just battered but not broken, but for Brute and Warrior. So prevent it, create an agility. Run into Trouble. This is a deal 1 damage to the attacking hero if you control an agility token. So if you've made an agility token, this will at least be a nice way to kind of close out games in limited. Probably not going to see much play in anything else though. Test of Agility, same deal. It is a block card that clashes, and then if you win, you get an agility token. Agile Windup. This is going to be really good. I think this might be good for Warriors, especially Olympia, because Olympia can attack with this, get the go again if he had an agility token already. It's a great closer. If your opponent is expecting you to attack with a weapon and you attack with an Agile Windup instead, pretty cool, 3 for 7. But of course, if you're looking to set up your next turn and you're looking to just end your turn with I don't want to arsenal this card, I'd rather it do something for me, you can discard it to get yourself the agility token so that you can have go again on your next turn, be able to do your big stuff with your weapon attacks. Rising Speed, talked about if you draw a card, this is great with draw swords because you get to draw a card and then this gets go again. Super cool. All right, we'd love to see that. Of course, draw discard is also a thing for brutes too. So if you've drawn a card, this will get go again. So you could draw discard. Let's say you have an agility token, you can attack with even like mini meat axe, which lets you draw and discard. This will then get go again. Super powerful, right? It's a 5. So like this will be good in KO, the red, but everything else probably is very situational. This is definitely more for warriors than brutes, I think. But if you ran 6s, this in brute is pretty good because it is a 6 and it could get go again. It's pretty powerful. Wage agility, attacks a hero, you may wager an agility token with them. This is great for both warriors and brutes. It's probably going to be more so for brutes because you're going to wage that agility and you're probably going to do really well buffing this with brutes. But of course, you do get to buff warrior attacks as well. And this does count as warrior attack if you are buffing it in the reaction step or something of the sort. So this is also powerful if you're trying to go tall warrior. And again, KO can use this one because it's going to be a 6. Very good. Lead with speed. Guarantee a buff on a warrior attack and then create an agility. So you can even lead with speed and then wage agility. So this will come in for like 10. and then you get to, you already have an agility token, you'll make another one. It wouldn't make sense to do this because you don't want 2 agility tokens. You'd rather have 2 might or 2 vigor instead of 2 agility, because 2 agility negates itself. It doesn't make any sense. But I think this is a great card to start with. Vigor Girth, destroy a creative vigor token. We're moving into the Guardian 1. For some reason my internet is not working to the best of its ability. We'll give it a sec. Weird. I might have to call a Comcast guy. We're just having issues talking about. Apparently, sometimes the internet just like crashes for like a split second and then it's back up, and then it crashes and it's back up. But it only happens like midday for some reason. So not entirely sure it's like a big ordeal there. So of course, Double Down, very cool into Olympia, because you can play Double Down into anything that wagers, and you get double the wager tokens plus a +3 and overpowered to that wagered attack. So very cool in that regard. I like it. This is a great card to play in Olympia. I wouldn't play it in probably anything else though. Like an American problem. Yeah, it is for sure. It is for sure. It only seems to happen during the middle of the day for some reason, and I'm not sure why. But I will need to probably get that fixed, because I know my roommate does do some work from home in the middle of the day, and I would hate for this to be happening to him. So I might need to get a Comcast technician out to check it out. I initially, fun fact, outside of this, right, complete and utter tangent, but it like maybe like 3 weeks into us having our Comcast internet, I got a text message from a technician or from Comcast saying that we are realizing that you're probably having issues with your internet connection, and we wanted to send a tech out for free to go take a look at it, so that way we could fix it. And I was like, no, I'm good, because our internet worked fine. Like, I didn't notice anything. I never heard of any problems that were happening with it. So I was like, forget it. It's not worth the time. We don't need to worry about that. Chill out. Airplane or whatever that is. So it was very like, I was like, what the hell's going on? I don't need to have Comcast out here. It's fine. And I'm pretty skeptical about that half the time, because I don't work in tech, but like I have a background in tech. And half the time I think that when a company wants to send a tech out to somebody's house to do something with the router, it's normally like they want to throttle you. They want to do something to the router to allow it to throttle you. So I'm just like, I don't want to do this. Like, don't touch my stuff. I think it's fine right out of the box. But now I'm having problems. So I would like to probably do something about that. Anyway, back on tangent, Clash of Vigor. Looking at this is just the same deal. If it defends, you clash. This is great for Guardians because it's more opportunity to clash and create a Vigor token. But you're probably only going to run the 6 in Guardians, and you're probably not going to run it in Warrior. And you could, theoretically, because it is a nice way to get free resources if you're trying to clash. But Warrior is clashing with Guardians. A Guardian's probably going to win. But a Warrior clashing with a Warrior is completely different. Warrior clashing with Warrior, you could have a chance. Warriors clashing with Guardians, though, you're probably not suited to do too much there. So don't expect to win clashes. Very much so for Guardians. Slap Happy, this is just like the other two. I like that they made it a cycle. They made just like all of these cards cycles of each other. Hardy Block. If you control a Vigor token, you gain 1 life. So I think this could be good for like defensive strategies into Guardians, right? I might run this in Guardian. If you're trying to do fatigue, gain a life, like that's pretty good. You're probably going to control a Vigor token, so you can just block it, gain a life. That might be something I play in Limited. I don't think it'll see play anywhere else. Test of Vigor, this is another one of those 4-block clashes. Pretty powerful. Rising Energy, if you draw a card this turn, this means it costs 1 less to play. Guardians, probably not going to be drawing cards outside of, paying for gold. Or Victor, right? Victor is, well, Victor, if you draw, or if you create a gold, draw a card. So Victor might use something like this because uh, he's going to want to try and make gold with like clashing and making like waging gold and so on and so forth. So you could try to do something like that, but I'm not entirely sure. Warriors, it's very good for because again, draw swords, play rising energy, comes in for 1 for 6, pretty powerful. Vigorous windup, again, create a vigor token. This one probably is not going to be as used. It's nice for clashes, and it's good if you want to guarantee a vigor token. But in most cases, warriors want agility tokens over vigor tokens, I personally think, and guardians want vigor tokens over might tokens. So I don't know. It's all depending, but it could find work, right? Obviously, I think you could get away with playing a blue, but you're not going to want to play this card if you're going to use it. I'm curious if Vigor will essentially replace Seismic Surge more from here on out, unless you're doing stuff for Valda. I feel like you do. Yeah, because obviously Seismic Surges are -1 resource for your next Guardian attack, where it's so funny because it, like, again, the internet just like cuts. Not necessarily replace. You could do both in a capacity. I think so too. I mean, I think it's just like making stuff nearly free is like the point of Guardians. Like high powered, like if you can make like something that costs 6, cost 3, or you could make something that costs 3, cost nothing. I think you have a pretty good standing there. Wage Vigor, of course, you're going to play this in Betsy. You might play it in Victor. You're probably not going to play it in Warrior unless you need cards to make sure you win clashes. You're probably not going to play this. Lead with Heart is it's a good card if you're in any of these two, right? I think these cards, these lead with Power, lead with Speed, and lead with Heart, these are nearly necessary in Limited because of the value it gets you, right? +3 to any of your class attacks. You get the +3, and then you get the token on top. It guarantees you the token, which means that the stuff you block with Temper has the ability to block, and it's just good, right? A 3 for 7 is good pickup simply because exactly, yeah, it's good to pick up because of the stats, right? 3 for 7, it does the work. But is it something you're gonna like need to focus on? Probably not. Yeah. Lead with Heart with Bolton would be crazy good. I mean, even this, right? Yellow, lead with Heart. Next Guardian or Warrior attack this turn gets +2, create a Vigor token. So you get the Vigor token. At that point, you'd probably want to lead with Power, though, because you get the Might token, and the Might will help buff the attacks to give go-agains for souls and so on and so forth. Balance of Justice. We're moving to the generic stuff now. The stuff that really, really changes formats. Okay? Generic stuff really, really changes formats. And I'm really curious to see what this generic stuff is going to hold for the rest of the sets. A lot of the stuff is going to have its use in Limited, obviously, but I would imagine a lot of this is going to change up stuff in Classic Constructed and Blitz and so on and so forth. There are certain cards in here that I've seen that I think are really, 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 what do you call it? Strong, I guess, in that concept, where he doesn't. Oh, it's right. No, because that's just Brute Guardian. Shit. Well, you know what I mean. There's ways to get around. It is good even just to have free resources for anything too. So I think it's fine because you are pumping anyway, right? So it doesn't matter. But generics, I think, are going to change games. I'm curious to see what's going to happen here, though. So Balance Justice. This is the new Crown of Providence. You get this in the gold foil extended art version for winning the big crazy events like Pro Tours and so on and so forth. Balance Justice, you can destroy it to draw a card and activate this ability only if your opponent has drawn 2 or more cards this turn. So it's very good for other decks that draw things. But it's situational. Guardwell is that's the mix between Temper and Battle Worn. It gets a -1 counter based on whatever its defense is. So if it defended, put a -1 counter on it equal to its defense. So you block 2, and then that's it. You can't block with it. It's a 0 block afterwards. So it's just Battle Worn that like goes down faster. So from here on out, it looks like we can reprint Fit in Holes. Yeah. The generics are really, really good. They do fit a lot into the reprint section of things. So, and there's a lot of reprints in the generic section here too. So we'll go over those. Bounce, I'm not sure how well this is. Some people are just like, this is way better Crown of Providence because you get to keep it. But I also think that you have to wait for your opponent to draw more cards. And so I'm not sure if it's like a necessity. Although, obviously, people are going to want to be drawing cards. So if you get to destroy this and draw a card after your opponent has drawn 2 cards, it allows for you to... This is even really good into Icelander, right? Because Icelander can play things like Cold Snap or Polar Blast and get to draw a card, which then at that point you can, in response... Oh, they have to draw 2 or more cards. Sorry, I'm stupid. Never mind. Forget what I said. You have to draw 2 or more cards. You're talking like Blood Rush Bellows, 3 of a kinds, ninjas doing ninja stuff. It's probably way better into ninjas comparatively. Like I might even run this into as Dromai into ninja because it blocks 2 and then you can destroy it, draw a card. Because if they end up drawing 3, I don't know. If they end up drawing 2, you got other things too. So it is. I'm not sure how we're going to see it yet. Some pro player out there is going to break it, and everybody will freak out about it. So get a copy when you can. Perfect counter to Crown. They both do what you want to do really well. Yeah. I think if people can find good ways to break it, it'll work out. I don't know whether or not it's going to be like the card. But again, somebody will figure it out. Yeah, it will help to draw my fine man. I do think it does help into ninjas. Like I said, you're able to draw cards. You know, Fi is going to be able to just pop stuff off. He's going to be able to draw 2 with Art of War, and then you're going to be able to draw 1 to continue blocking that stuff out to give yourself a better turn. So I do think it's good against Art of War Fi or Art of War ninjas in general, but is it the spice? I have no idea, right? I have no idea. Glory Seeker. These are going to be the next like common things that you're going to find in here. This is going to be to fill in gaps for your armor in limited. Glory Seeker, you can pay 3 to destroy this, draw card. That's good if you care about things like Kasai, and also, you know, like if you're running like a rising build. That's what I'm going to call it. I'm going to call it the rising build. You can pay 3 to destroy. So that way you can play like Rising Speed. You get to draw the card and do all that too. Anything that's going to pay you to draw a card. 3 is a little hefty because you're going to use a lot of resources for it, but it's not terrible. Sheltered Cove lets you prevent 2 damage for 3. I don't know how on rate that is. It's probably not very on rate, but it is nice because, you know, you could prevent damage. So this would be good if your opponent went to go block with, if you had 1 life and you had to go, you know, your opponent blocked with that 1 card that says if you have a might token to deal 1 damage to your opponent, this is a way to block that out if you're like trying to like really get down to the nitty gritty of it all. So true. Yeah. They do both love drawing with tomes. It's also good, like literally against Dromai, because Dromai can draw 2 cards with the Tome of Imperial Flame. So that is good. What's up, Bob? How are ya? How are ya? Hopefully you're doing good. Hopefully we're currently going over the heavy hitter set right now, just kind of talking about some of the new cards. We're in the generic stuff right now. I'm just kind of going over my thoughts of all these things. So it's good in limited kinetic intimidate. True. Yes, it is good for intimidate. Yeah, because you can just pay 3 to negate 2. So, yep. It is the concept there. That is nice. But yeah, I think it does work. I think it's good. Good to hear doing good though, Bob. Good to hear. Hopefully you're just hanging out, listening to me ramble a little bit, talking about some generics. The adversity stuff, I think, is way better than the headliner stuff because it's got 2 in Blade Break as opposed to 1 in Blade Break, unless you're playing UPF, right? But may only defend if the attack's controller has drawn a card this turn is very specific, right? Obviously, this is like it can only defend if the attack's controller had a vigor or destroyed a might token or destroyed an agility token. So very specific, but Blade Break 2, you know all of these things are going to happen. People are going to be drawing cards. People are going to be making or having their tokens destroyed at the beginning of their turns. Very good limited. I would rather you play this than play Headliner. Just way better. Bloodied Oval. Again, it's a good shield, but I'd rather play the Clash Shield, I think. Nasty Surprise, this is really good. Getting to the generic Majestics, this is probably where most of the spice is going to be. There's some cards in here that I think are going to have a pretty huge premium into the meta. Like, I genuinely feel like some of these are like the next Warmonger's Diplomacy kind of deals. Nasty Surprise is pretty cool. When an opponent's effect put into your graveyard from anywhere. So when this goes into the graveyard from anywhere, from an opponent's effect, let's say like, Miller's Grindstone, this can create an agility, might, and vigor token. Super powerful. So, playlist, every class have access to shield now. That is true. I didn't even think about that. Every hero has a shield now. It's not just warriors or guardians. So that is cool. That is good to know. I don't know if it's enough, right? But it is nice. Yeah, shield is playable for everybody, so that is good. In case you needed that extra defense, it is a value for it there. Yeah, Nasty Surprise, it's blue, block 3/0. If it goes into the grave from anywhere, from an opponent's effect only. So there is that. Is it good? I'm not sure. It definitely could have its uses, but is the thing. True. Yes, extra 1 armor is a big deal, especially if you're able to get it in the set. So 1 armor is going to be good. It'll definitely, and of course, it's only equal to the opposing number of heroes with greater life than you. So it is good for that match where it's like, okay, like into the fatigue matches of having that extra armor is going to be worth it. Pay up. This is very interesting. It's a 3 for 6, block 3, red. If defending hero controls a gold, this gets overpower. So if you're playing against a Victor and they haven't destroyed their shield yet, this is going to get overpower. And then when it hits a hero that gain control of a gold they control, you can, I guess, theoretically, you could take their shield. And if you don't, deal 1 damage to them. So you could theoretically take their shield or any of their gold. And then if you don't, you deal 1 damage to them. So if they don't have a gold, you still deal an extra damage. But if they do have a gold, you get to take it. So yeah, taking the shield is funny. Obviously, you're probably not going to see that too much in limited, but in actual play against Victor, this could be a fun tech to be like, okay, cool, I'm taking your armor. Because his shield blade breaks, right? Aegis Aurum, right? Aurum Aegis. It's got temper. Crazy. Like, insane. It's so stupid. So stupid. It's got temper. I think that's really funny. I think it's really, really funny. If you can make that happen, you can make it happen. It's a big tech into whatever in a Shield and Clash Assassin, not gonna lie. That could be fun, right? I mean, you're already doing like fatigue stuff. I think that might be fun just to like Spider's Bite and then Bloodied Oval. Be cool. You could also run 2 of them. Technically, right? So pay up, pretty interesting. Like the payoff isn't like insanely huge, but like it is good if you're trying to take away gold from other people. If you care about that. Ripple Away, this is really big into token creation, right? You could at any point discard this, and if an action card would create 1 or more tokens this turn, said it would create that many -1 of each of those tokens. So if somebody is about to win a wager, you can discard this card, and they'll not gain any of those tokens at all. And that's pretty good. I like that. Unless, of course, they play Double Down, which will get them an additional 1 on top of it. So it would just like negate itself out and you'd only get 1 token. You'd still get the token. But it is a nice way to kind of like counter that and be like, all right, whatever. Yeah, this is a nice little Viceroy tech. It's funny. I originally thought this card was an expansion slot card because that is definitely some very beautiful Crouching Tiger-esque stuff. And I don't know why. Like obviously this is like a tech into Crouching Tiger ninja stuff, which I'm still blown away that we're seeing Crouching Tiger stuff like snuck in there. The second we go to Mysteria, you're going to get like a hero that cares about Crouching Tiger, and this whole thing is going to be out the window. Like Crouching Tiger stuff is going to blow up. That's my assumption, right? You know, call me out here at this very moment. If Mysteria is the next set and we get a hero that cares about Crouching Tiger, all the Crouching Tiger stuff is going to shoot in price. Tiger Swipe is going to go up in price. The stuff from the TCC deck is going to, like that Ira deck is going to shoot up in price. It's going to be good. It's going to be good. But I'm very curious to see, because this is obviously a tech against it, right? And discard this card. If an action card would create 1 or more tokens this turn, instead of creates that many -1. So they always have an artwork for the next set. Nothing jumps out at me as the next set art. Yeah, no, this is for sure. I would hope in Mysterious that would reprint the RTC stuff. Maybe, right? Maybe. I mean, I'd assume a lot of it would be, if it cares about Crouching Tiger, a lot of that stuff would get reprinted. But when you look at things like they're probably not going to be reprinted in Rainbow Foil. So like if they do reprint Tiger Swipe, it's not going to be Rainbow Foil. It's going to be regular. So, but this card I think is huge. I think a lot of people are saying that this card is huge. This next Majestic. I think this might be the next $40 some card that comes out of the set. When it attacks or defends, you can put a card from your arsenal on the bottom of your deck. And if you do, it gets +2 and +2. So not only does it save your arsenal, it blocks for 5, and it's a popper, all in the same route for defending. But it also attacks for 6 if you're in attack with it. But in the defense value, a popper and block 5, because it's not or, it's and. +2 and +2. So super good into CNC. Any arsenal destruction. You know, block with 1 piece of armor in standing order. Save your arsenal. Get to keep a card. Like, very good. The only thing that would make this even stronger is if you got to draw a card after you pitch to Arsenal. Happy it doesn't have that, because this card would be like $80. This is like next CNC level stuff right here. I think next set as well. I feel like Mysteria makes more sense. Yeah, I would like to see a Mysteria set. I mean, that's obviously, we haven't gone to the Savage Lands yet. We haven't gone to Mysteria. And we haven't gotten, like, you know, obviously we're not going to get like a Demonastery only set or a Solana only set. But I believe Mysteria would probably be the next place they'd go to. That just fits, right? Yeah, Slate Listed. Yeah, I think the payoff is super great, right? Blocks for 5, pops, so it's good in like nearly anything that needs a popper. It's good. It's good. It's good. I like that. Now, of course, you have to have a card in Arsenal in order for this to matter. So you don't want to, you don't ever want anything to, you want it to have stuff in Arsenal for something like this to happen. But it's not like a game-changing turn. It's just like, oh, shoot, I didn't even think they would have had this card. Tenacity, super cool. This is, somebody called this card sugar on the wound as opposed to salt on the wound, because it's the same deal. It's a generic for everybody. When this attacks, it gets plus X, where X is the number of defending cards on the combat chain. So you assume this could possibly be 6, right? Like, this could be 6. You're trying, especially to ninjas, right? You swing, they don't want you to get those mass triggers. So you're just going to keep swinging things until eventually you hit the point where it's just like, cool, okay, tenacity. You've got 2 pieces of armor and 4 cards from hand on the chain right now. This is coming in for 8. What? And it blocks for 3. Exactly, that's what I'm saying. Like 2 pieces of armor, 4 cards from hand, and maybe even a D-react from Arsenal if you're really trying to like get crazy with it on an Art of War turn. Like, blah, gross. Gross. This card is this is ninja support all day, every day. Crazy. Absolutely crazy. It'd be if it was like plus X for the number of defending cards on the combat chain link, right? This card would suck. But the fact that it's on the combat chain in general, just don't break your chain. Go like 6 hits in a row. Ninjas love this card. This is a huge card for ninjas. Oh, damn, this card's good. I'm gonna get some tenacity and put it in my 5 deck for sure. I think that's gonna be a huge win, and it still costs 0. It's cost 0. It's a 0 block 3, just like Salt the Wound, except now it cares about defending cards as opposed to how many times you've hit, and your opponent's defending. They're not just gonna take all of that. That's crazy. Because if they take all of it, they're gonna get hit with salt. But if they don't take all of it and they block everything, they're not only going to take salt, but they're also going to, the ninja's going to draw cards. But now it's like, cool, you're going to defend your whole way through my Art of War turn? Tenacity. Rocked. Ugh, so good. To do secrets, I don't know how well this card is going to work out. Look at target hero's hand and the top card of their deck. So, huge amount of value for an instant. So what you could even do is, at the beginning of your opponent's turn, you can play this from Arsenal. You get to draw a card. Now you have a 5-card hand. And you get to see what's in their hand. So you can literally piece out what they're doing before they even do it. It's also super good for Illusionist. Because you can pop from Arsenal, draw a card, 5-card hand, and check to see how many poppers they have in their hand. Play around that. Like, super good. You're able to play around poppers with this. And I think that value is insane. It's just like Lost in Thought. Lost in Thought is also super good. So, bouncing links build with 2 salt and 2 tenacity. Yeah, that's that good shit. I feel like I'm just going to get that card just to own it. I'll never use it, but Rainbow Foil is self-surprise. Yeah, true. The Rainbow Foil is probably really, really pretty. But I think this is huge into popper plays. I think it's huge into figuring out whether or not, for instance, it's probably good into Mechanologist, because you're able to see if they have a bunch of items in their hand or not. I mean, regardless, a play from Arsenal draw card is also good into the cards that care if you drew, like all the Rising cards. Kasai will probably want to run this card for sure, because then Kasai can go, okay, how much do I have to pump? What are they gonna block with? Do they have enough block? Like you can literally see what their block value is. You can also see you also help with clash on this situation, because now you can go, okay, am I going to win every clash I decide to do in Guardian or Brute? Because now you can just go, okay, cool. What's the top card of their deck? It's an attack reaction. Sick. All right, clash, clash, clash. All right, awesome. I win a whole bunch of clashes. I get a whole bunch of tokens. I get to like it even works with wager, because you're just like, how are they going to block this, right? Are they going to block this with enough cards? Do they have block cards in hand to block out my overpowers? I don't know. I think like from the set perspective, if you pull this, it's crazy. But I think the card has use. Is it going to be a staple? It's going to be probably a staple in decks that care about drawing cards and knowing about cards in your opponent's hand. I would play this in Dromai. It's a yellow card, but I'd play it in Dromai because I want to see what my opponent has. I'd also play it in Victor because Victor cares about yellows. So I'd also play it in Prism because Prism cares about yellows. But I don't know. It's a testing situation, but I do think that it has a lot of upside. Having the knowledge of your opponent's hand and the top card of their deck could mean a lot for you compared to other things. This card, Down But Not Out, this card is just way better last-ditch effort. If you have less health and control fewer equipment and tokens than them, it'll get +3 overpower, and when this hits, create an agility, might, and vigor token. If you pull this card in limited, you have to play it. There is no ifs, ands, or buts. You have to play this card. Even if you play the blue. 6 overpower, when it hits, create a might, agility, and vigor. You have to play this card. It's just good in all ways. Specifically for like these things, even like, holy shit! I cannot believe I'm almost willing to run this in almost every Clash deck I have. Like, you imagine playing this in like Icelander, being able to be like, cool, okay, like the +1 doesn't really matter for might, but the vigor and the agility, that might be something. Maybe not the agility because it's attack, right? Your next attack gets go again, right? That's what agility does. Yeah, your next attack this turn. So, I mean, Icelander probably not like super great, but it is good for if you're, if you're running Bullander stuff. So, very powerful, especially in limited. Again, this is something you have to play in limited. You have to play this. Exactly. Yeah, Assassin would be cracked in this too. Could you imagine just like fatigue, and it's like, okay, cool. You have a whole bunch of tokens and stuff, and like one more life than I do, and I have like near no equipment. I just, because like you can have your equipment be destroyed and then be able to bring it back as an assassin, right? If you're using the silver stuff, then you can just play Down But Not Out, get all these tokens, and then you'll have assassin attacks have agility, right? Any of these generics that give you an agility token, super good for assassin, because then you can just be like, cool, all right, awesome, let's keep it going, right? Wage Gold, we know what this does already. Universal is pretty cool. While in any zone, it's the same class as your hero, so this gets buffed by anything that says your next Brute or Guardian or Warrior and Guardian or whatever. This gets buffed by it. So very cool. It also is it's a popper for anybody, and it's not and it's also unfortunately something that is a illusionist card if you're running it in illusionist, so it doesn't matter. You can't pop it. You can't use this as a popper in illusionist. But what are some uses for Universal? Because Universal is very interesting. I think Wage Gold has its moments. I don't know if it's like It's obviously going to be good in it's going to be good in Victor. Seismic Surge works on Universal. Next Warrior attack gets plus that. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yep. It's got its uses. What else? You know, it can be used in like assassins, right? If you have like you can use shred with this. I don't think you would, but because you don't really care too much about gold, but I guess that is a thing too. Reinforced line reprint in here. This is obviously just going to be for frickin' yeah, this could go in Azuri. That is true. This could go in Azuri because it is an assassin. Pop it over there. Yep. That's pretty good. The reinforced line reprint is probably is necessary for this because, like, let's be honest, attack actions. If you're defending with an attack action, your opponent gets a buff because it's an attack action. You can then pump it more, be able to get more value out of it. It's going to be great in defensive guardian builds. Adrenaline rush. When you play this, if you have less life than your opposing hero, it gets +3. 2 for 7 is fine. It's just another situational generic. Performance boost is pretty cool. This is oh yeah, no, wage gold is 3. That's right. Yeah, you can't. Never mind. That's right. Because it's only 2 or less, right? So but I'm sure it's got uses elsewhere, right? You can seismic surge this. So this gets, yeah, you know, you can make this be a 7 for free. Then if you have an agility token or something. Performance bonus. This is a very interesting one because when it hits, create a gold token, and if it was played from Arsenal, it gets go again. This is something you're going to want to play in Victor. It's also something you're going to want to play in Kasai, and probably just Kasai and Victor in this matchup. But what's really cool is if you really wanted to, you could play this, the yellow one, in Benji, and just make a gold token, guarantee that hit, and give it go again. It's kind of fun. But this is nice gold creation in case you're trying to figure out making gold. Rally the Rear Guard is another way, you know, discard a card. This gets +3, activate this ability only while it's defending. So, right, you force them to overblock that stuff, yeah. Rally the Rear Guard is just more defensive value. You can block with it and then discard, and it'll get +3. So it'll block for 5. It is an attack action, though, so it does trigger attack action things. Mainly just for defensive value things. So this is, again, a good Guardian choice if you're trying to go like Fatigue Guardian. Trade-in is really good for, again, drawing the cards. If it was played from Arsenal, gets go again, so you can 0 for 3 from Arsenal, and you can discard a card to draw a card. This helps with Rhinar. Can you Rhinar in their turn with Rally? I believe so. I believe Rhinar's... No, it's not an instant. An instant? Yeah, whenever you discard a card with 6 or more power during your action phase, Intimidate. So no, you cannot. But... And you can't even use it with KO either, because KO, you don't get the Might token because it's on your action phase when you discard a card. So the only thing you'd be able to get out of that is, I don't know, just the +5. I don't think there's really like a huge amount of value to it. But at this point, though, you could also play this, right? Like the blue is pretty good because then you can pitch it for things and so on and so forth. It's a nice defensive strategy because all of these block for 5 if you discard a card. So 5 blocks, pretty okay. Not terrible, I guess. Trade-ins. Hold on. A bunch of phlegm. What is that? Trade-in, of course, right? This is probably really good for Kasai because you get to draw a card. If you was played from Arsenal, it gets go again. So you play 3, draw a card, or discard and then draw. Your weapons then come in for nearly nothing. And you also get to draw power for things like, again, the rising builds, like using things like rising speed and rising power and rising whatever the other one is, rising vigor. Lunging press, huge, right? Target attack action gets +1. This is great for defending if it's a popper. But of course, you're not worrying about poppers and limited. This is just really good because it's an attack reaction for everybody. You get to give it +1, pop it over. This helps with the wager mechanics and so on and so forth. And it's a blue. Very powerful. Money where my mouth is, almost everybody's going to want to be playing this. +3 to any attack, and then you wager a gold. So you're going to want to play this. It's a good card. Helps you wager. This is more gold creation stuff, so this is going to help. Victor's going to want to run this because when you wager, you get a gold. If you create a gold, draw a card. Olympia will make 2 gold off of this if he wins the wager. Kasai will have 1 more extra gold for her attacks. Betsy gets to overpower whatever attack it is. And then then brutes don't really care a whole lot about this other than that things are pumped. Starting stake. You get a starting stake in your pre-release kit. Should you run it? Maybe. I'd run it in Victor for limited. I'd run it in Kasai for limited. And I'd run it if I was doing a rising power build. But otherwise, I'm probably not touching it. The must run is a 3 block yellow. It's true. I mean, that is not bad. You're not getting a play set. You're just getting 1 of them. And it's also a cold foil, mind you. This is going to be cold foil. Cold foil starting stake. So that's going to be pretty cool. And then, of course, test of strength down here, right? This is a generic block, so anybody can use this. And this in Clash for anyone that... Oh, for sure. Because, I mean, if you want gold, you're gonna use it, right? Squizzy and Floof. They care about gold. I don't know how merchants work. Test of strength, of course, it's a generic block, so anybody can use it. Defends, Clash with attacking hero, winner creates gold. So another one to be good use for Victor, and also for Kasai, even if you're really going to run Kasai. Although warriors are a little harder to do that with. So, and then we have all the expansion slot stuff. So obviously we've got all the tokens here. The tokens look beautiful. We also, I don't know if you guys saw, but there's also perforated tokens now. So I believe there are actual like versions, like card-sized versions of these tokens, which I've seen. But in nearly every pack, on the back of the pack in the token slot, if you don't get like a token weapon or a token hero, you're getting a token like 4-pack essentially. It's small versions of these tokens that you can split apart, and they're both double-sided. So they have agility, might, vigor, and gold. And you get to you do that. So pretty cool. Crack Bauble obviously is there if you need it. But let's get into these. We've talked a little bit about some of these here. They're not like, I think there's only a couple cards in the expansion slot that I'm like, yeah, I'd really be happy pulling this.
Graven Call, I still don't like it. Somebody's going to have to tell me how to use this properly in order for me to like it, but I don't love it. It's just Spider's Bite without the Spider Bite ability, but you're able to bring it back with a +1 counter. It gives you +1 attack, but even a 2 for 2 is not like... A 2 for 2 is not very great. Like, now the piercing 1 on that is fine, because then it's like, okay, you don't get the value block out of it. But I don't think it's a must run, especially when like everything else is like a 2 for 3 or a 1 for 3, even in like Dorinthia's case, right? So it's just, I don't know. It's a must run if you have Silver and Clash. Maybe, yeah, I guess. Like, you're not playing Flick Knives in Clash, but you're probably playing Hurl. Like, it's fine for Hurl builds, but I don't know. Again, you have to guarantee that you get the silver out. So Hurl Arachne might be a fun thing to do, but I don't know if Graven Call is like the move. If you aren't playing Hurl, you're assassinating wrong. True. I have not. I must be assassinating wrong though, because I don't play Hurl. I just haven't gotten used to. Like the thought of me destroying my weapon scares me, so I just don't. I just don't do that. But it is what it is. All right. Coercive Tendency. So Coercive Tendency. This is a pretty cool Arachne specialization, I gotta say. It's a 0 for 3 go again. Yeah, no, it is. It's a good card. I just like I don't like destroying my weapons. I think it's weird, but I do have to try it because it does sound pretty cool. Coercive Tendency. This is a really cool specialization specifically for Contract Arachne and nothing else. Contract Arachne gets to use this. Look at the top 3 cards of the defending hero's deck, put them back in any order, then banish the top card of their deck. It's a guaranteed banish attack reaction. Huge. You get to brainstorm their deck, and then you get to banish the top card. Huge. And then if you complete a contract this way, your assassin attacks get go again this combat chain. So you can choose to either get a card that you know is going to be part of the contract to keep getting go agains with like your 0 for 4s. Disgusting. Or you can choose to take their stronger card that is not part of the contract and chuck it. Yeah. I think this card is a definite include in Arachne. I'm going to play it in Arachne Huntsman. There'd be no reason for you to not play this in Arachne Huntsman. I think, again, a lot of it is just like you have to, like, you really want to set this up with like tons of 0 for 4s that let you just pop stuff out. I think the card is a must-have in Arachne. I don't think there's anything about it. Like, also, can we talk about how like this almost looks like it could be the Emperor? Like, I don't have a picture of the Emperor up right now. Let me see. Like, enhance? No, he's got like a goatee. This guy does not have a goatee. Never mind. I'm just sitting here curious, like what would be happening here to that this is the case. So card is good. I'd get a playset as quickly as possible if I could. I still need to get a playset of Already Dead. And I think that card is insane too. So to get that. This card was spoiled just yesterday. Ancestral Harmony. This is literally, again, one of the most, like, this card is one of the other ones that I think is one of the most insane cards in the slot, in this expansion slot, at all times. This is literally nothing but value. It's a blue, it's 0. So Katsu's Harmonized Kodachi works with this. Blocks for 3. Your attacks with combo get +1 this turn. And then you can banish the top card of your deck. And if it's a combo, if it has combo, you can play it this turn. And you have go again. Katsu just became 5 levels of strength and then some. This card is a must run in Katsu. A must run. The only downside is if you banish a card that doesn't have combo, it feels bad. But even still, your attacks with combo get +1. That's at least anywhere between 3 to 4 additional attack on each attack on top of that. I mean, you're talking, you know, you already had insane value on things like gust, freaking, what is it? Gust wave, descending gust wave. You already had huge, stupid value on this card. Stupid, ridiculous value on this card. 5 for free after Surging Strike. Now it's 6. Now it's 6 for free with this. Then you have Bonds. 5 for free. Go again. Gust Wave. 5 for 3. Go again on hit draw card. Like insane. Katsu, Lord of Wind. I mean, I don't think anybody really does like a Mugenshi release build, but like this is huge. +1, go again. If it hits, search your deck for any number of cards named Lord of Wind. Put in your deck, so on and so forth. Right, play Lord of Wind. Shuffle cards, Surging Strike, Whelming Wave, Mugenshi release from your graveyard into your deck. Lord of Wind gains +X. Like all of, I mean, I genuinely, I kid you not, I've not wanted to play, like Katsu is so incredibly cool. I like seeing Katsu play a lot more than I like seeing Fi play, and I really like Fi. This card is, without a doubt, at least $20. I'll say it right now. It's at least a $20 card. Because now that Ice isn't a thing in CC, ninjas are huge. And Katsu just got another, like, I'm still in awe. I'm still in shock of how good that card is. And you want to know what's funny? You compare this card to this. This card is not what anybody expected, I think, from an expansion slot. We already have a new Evo Arms that's got Temper 2, which is already worse than the Temper 3 that comes on the Soul Controller one or whatever, the Arms. If you have a base Arms equipped, transform it into this, then equip it. Same as any Evo. Costs 1, it's blue. And when this defends, you may destroy a card under it. And if you do, gain control of target item with cost 0 or 1 controlled by the attacking hero. Now, this is obviously very, very specific. Yeah, and that's the thing. This was something that, because I think it was Matt McInnes who like showed off this card, that Fluke, that Flukenbox showed off, and people were just like, wow, why wasn't this in Bright Lights? And we're like, could you imagine this card in Bright Lights? Like, could you imagine this card in Limited and Bright Lights? You'd win forever. You just take items. Like, that's crazy. But I think it's good. I think it's better only into Mechanologist. Like there aren't many other things that are items. I mean, it's good. You know what? It is good though. It has to defend an attack action, and Wizards don't care about that, because I was like, you could take an energy potion. That'd be freaking cool. But it doesn't matter because they're not going to attack you with actual attacks. So it is really good into the mirror. It's not good into anything else, and it's still not an Evo piece that has Arcane Barrier. So it still doesn't matter. It still doesn't matter. None of this matters. Evo Magneto, stupid. Not. There's also talk on whether or not it was Evo Magneto and not Evo Magneto, and I'm like, it's Evo Magneto. Let's just be honest. It just flows better, sounds delicious, love it. Judge, Jury, and Executioner. This has been spoiled a long time back. it's aim counter Azalea. Not many people are playing aim counter Azalea, so I'm not sure when this actually happens, but let's be honest. When this hits a hero, they discard all but one card from their hand. That's gross. Like, this is gross. If I'm playing aim counter Azalea, I want this card. But obviously, I'm not playing aim counter Azalea. I'd be playing anything else besides aim counter Azalea. But if you're able to put aim counters on it with things like Crow's Nest, it's good. Yeah, exactly. Arcane Barrier. Yeah, Crow's Nest, you can put an aim counter on it. Like, is it going to be the spice though? I'm not sure, right? I mean, if you can get it from the top, dominate it, give it an aim counter, then and you have the resources for all that, then like sick. I don't know whether or not it's like the move, but it is a very terrifying on hit. But that's the thing though. You got to think about it, right? If it doesn't have dominate, they're going to throw their whole hand at it anyway to block it. If it does have dominate, that's the only time in which it's like, yeah, this sucks. So I like it. The card is I love the very like noir look to the card. But I'm curious how much play it's going to get actually seen in Azalea. Reel in now. I was not expecting a Riptide card in this set. I was not expecting a Riptide card in this expansion set. This is really wild. So you can look at the top X+1 cards of your deck. Let's say you pitch 3. Look, top 4 cards of your deck. Choose up to 4 traps, reveal them, put them into your hand, then shuffle, and then you can reload. Now, they're really trying to make traps work with Riptide, and I just don't know. 4 cards to look at the top card of your deck is pretty good. But you'd have to run like a trap-based specialty. And then, of course, reload. Like, reload doesn't, I mean, it matters because you're able to put stuff into your arsenal. And it's an instant. So you could theoretically do that on your opponent's turn, search for a trap. Let's say you even have a trap already in your hand. Get a trap set up, and then be able to play it when your opponent's on like an Art of War turn. Right? Because what's that one trap that stops people from having go again? Collapsing trap. When this defends an attack with go again, the attacking hero discards their hand and draws that many cards -1. That doesn't stop go again. What's the other one that stops go again? Is there one that stops go again? I mean, it's essentially collapsing trap, but like, I guess there isn't really one that stops it. Riptide needs 2 arsenals. I think it's too easy to group your arrows and traps together, which means you need to flip, which is only on his bow, and that bow is not good. Well, you can play Dreadbore too, I think, right? Isn't Dreadbore also a flip one? No. Dreadbore's not. Yeah, you may put an arrow card from your hand face up into your empty arsenal zone you control. If you do, it gains +1 till end of turn, go again. And then arrows you control have defense reactions, can't be played from hand this chain link. So Dreadbore might not be a terrible option for him. No, it doesn't flip like his ability, no. But that's what I mean, is like you can put this in here, pop it in. But yeah, I guess I see what you mean in that regard, because it doesn't flip it up. I think there are some cards that flip, though. Flip. Nope. Turn card face up. Face. Come on. Oh yeah, that's right. No, his weapon does flip it up. That's right. That's right. That's right. That's right. That's right. Well, I mean, if it happens, it happens, right? Like, well, where the hell is the damn weapon? Yeah, you can. You may turn a face down arrow in your arsenal face up if you do put an aim counter on it. I don't know. I mean, again, like playing New Horizon, Riptide is smart. You know, 2 arsenals is always better than 1, especially if you're playing Barb. But I still don't know whether or not like the trap specific way is the way to go. You know, being like, cool, okay, I want you to do this thing. Boop, like that's it. All right, we're done. Hey, Tomas, how are you? Welcome on in. We are currently going over. We're just finishing up the expansion slot stuff for heavy hitters. We just did a whole run through of everything for heavy hitters, and went over pretty much the entire set. And we're just finishing up here with some of the expansion slot stuff and going through some of the stuff that was done. Next up, we were looking at Sonata Galaxia. This card I think is insane, really cool. I like that you're able to find a Runeblade aura with X or less, put into the arena, then shuffle. This is really good for Looming Doom and Runeblood Barrier. It's just a bunch of really cool stuff. If X is 2 or more, this game's go again. X will definitely be 2 or more. Like, there's just no way. So it's very cool. I like Sonata Galaxia. That's going to be really good in Rune Chant builds, essentially. Might even be super good into Vincent. Looming Doom worth, though? I mean, I think it could be. I mean, you could. I think it could be worth it. I don't see why Looming Doom wouldn't. It just turns all your rune chants into, you know, deal 2 damage every turn as opposed to 1. But at the beginning of it, remove a Doom counter. If you do, deal 2 arcane damage to any target, otherwise destroy Looming Doom. Yeah, it's 1 per turn, but I mean, even if this is like 6 rune chants, like Viserai makes rune chants like nobody's business. So even if this is like 6 rune chants, right? Let's just assume that's 12 damage that you get to spread amongst whatever. It'd be fine. I think it'd be fine against Romai. I mean, it would ping a dragon. It'll kill Kyloria. It'll kill what else does it kill? Asvali? Asvali have 3 or 4. I should know this. It's got 3. I was like, I should know this. But I think overall, it's just an additional tick of damage, right? You know, 2 extra damage of it just sitting on the board and going, okay, you're going to take 2. Okay, you're going to take 2. Okay, you're going to take 2. You're going to take 2. And with decks that can really care about like making a ton of them, I mean, you also have all of Viserai especially. I mean, Viserai has next Runeblade attack action costs X less to pay for each rune chant you control. So Sonata Phantasmia is huge. Like, create X rune chants, and then if X is 6 or greater, target hero discards 3 random cards. So most people don't respect. Oh, for sure. I mean, like, Viserai hasn't been in like an event, like doing well in an event since, I don't know, since Bloodsheath Skeleton was a thing. So they're just slowly adding in support, but it's for anybody. I think there are ways to do like rune chant builds. Like a lot of people like the OTK rune chant builds, where it's like you essentially you block out with a whole bunch of stuff. You make like 25 rune chants or something, and then you just attack with like Blade of the Ninth Oath or whatever, and you just like swinging for a stupid amount of damage. That's just like, yeah, you can't block all that. Like, that's ridiculous. So, I don't know. It's just building up rune chance and then hitting them with it. But Viserai, I think, still does good, especially at armory level. Still play Viserai very well at armory level. I don't know how many wizard fans we have here, but I heard a lot of people say that this card sucks. Deal 1 arcane damage to each opposing hero and then create a ponder token for each hero dealt damage this way. This is obviously very much so a... This is dumb. Because you make a ponder token for each hero dealt damage this way. But at that point, you're just like... You're just choosing certain other cards to put into your arsenal, right? It sifts through your deck faster. But it only deals 1 arcane damage. It's a 0-cost blue. I don't think this was like the card people expected to see for Wizards. But that's what that is. Dissolve Reality is very interesting. Yeah, mostly Brainstorm support. Dissolve Reality is pretty interesting here. Each hero puts all cards in their arsenal on the bottom of their deck and creates a ponder token. Go again. This is a great way for you to essentially start your turn by going, I don't like that card in your arsenal, get rid of it. I'll give you a ponder instead, in case it was like a, down and dirty or some kind of defense reaction or some special thing that was going to screw them over last turn. It's a nice way to get rid of it. But yeah, definitely more so for Prism than anything else. I'm not sure if it's still like I'd have to see it in action. I don't like giving my opponents things. And so giving them a ponder token, it's like, yeah, obviously that means that they can just like do stuff on their turn and then get a free card. But, you'd have to like change the pace of things. I think overall it's like, okay, cool. You're saving that card down there for something special. Get rid of it. Yeah. Now this card, on the other hand, this is probably... So out of all the cards that I think are doing super well into this thing, Course of Tendency, Ancestral Harmony, Judge, Jury, Executioner, Sonata Galaxia, and Luminaris Angel's Glow are all cards that I think are big hits for this expansion slot. Also get started doing something that maybe you can't play. Yeah, but like, why would you put it in your arsenal if you couldn't play it? You know what I mean? I feel like that's a bad move. It'd be different if you were like, okay, cool, I'm going to play this and like, I don't know. If there was like a trigger that like, if a card from Arsenal got put into your deck, play it. Or something. Force Arsenaling? Well, I mean, you force Arsenal something like a Codex of Frailty. I could put an instant and won't be able to play for 4. Need something else, I don't know. Well, yeah, but I mean, like, I don't know. I guess I'd expect you to be able to do that if your deck was tuned well enough. I just don't. It could be a counterplay to Ranger. It could be something, right? In regards, it's stopping them from having an arsenal temporarily. It again doesn't do a whole lot for you in regards to like if you were to go up against an Icelander, right? Obviously, kitchen table clash, kitchen table stuff, because it's not going to be able to be available in Clash or in Commoner. But all this does is go, hey, if I don't have a thing in my arsenal and you have a thing in your arsenal, I just want to get rid of that, and then we'll start doing a thing again. But for like a, I don't know. I feel like it, I mean, you get a ponder token out of it, so you will be able to ponder at the end of your turn. And your opponent will be able to ponder as well. I don't know. I don't know enough about it. It doesn't seem like it's like the spice. But again, I could be wrong. I could be way, way wrong. Luminous Angel Glow, though, I think we all know is going to be a super good card. Prism, it's not like she needed support, but like this is certainly a huge boost to them. I mean, my gosh, this card. I mean, I think even if you just ran only Heralds in your deck and no Angels, this is still insanely worth it. Insanely worth it. Mm-hmm. So this just goes, okay, do you want go again? Go again, right? Your Angels will have go again. Your Herald will have go again. If you don't deal with poppers, you can do Herald, Angel, Herald if you have the resources for it. It is attached to Prism, actually. It is attached to Prism. It was shown where the hell is it? Signature weapons. Prism, Sculptor of Art. Prism, Awakener of Soul has both Luminaris Angel's Glow and Luminaris Celestial Fury as her weapons. So both of these are the weapons of Prism. And if she goes, both of these weapons will go. But yeah, so yeah, I think it's the only time they've done that. And the reason they did it is strictly because it really is like, Luminaris is like a Prism weapon. And so, like, I'm not sure where in the lore that works out. If maybe like Luminaris, if maybe like Tuminaris is the Celestial Fury version, but then like when she became the Awakener of Souls, she got this one, right? It's the Angel's Glow. But again, like a lot of people, right? Most decks are playing poppers. If you're playing against a ninja, you're probably going against like a couple poppers, like 4, maybe. And then after that, it's like you're slamming it into them, right? But still, like, it's still rough into it's rough into Guardians, it's rough into Brutes, it's rough into high power assassin cards even. And the reason being, of course, is just because you've got poppers in those decks. That's why original Luminaris was so good, because it was just like attack with your auras. They don't have Phantasm. Keep attacking them, right? Keep doing that. And then every now and again, you can attack with a Herald, right? You can end your turn by attacking with a Herald. So that's why old Luminaris was super good. But this one, it allows your Heralds and your Angels to get go again. Because if you already have an Angel that's awakened and wasn't destroyed by Ward, you can use your first turn to swing with an Angel, pitching a yellow, swing with the Angel for 4, possibly using its ability to banish from Soul. Like this, and if you have Soul cards in Soul and you have Angel of Soraya up, cracked, right? I believe, Nathaniel, I think I went against you with my Prism deck, where it was like, anytime I tried to attack with the Herald, you were like, I'm getting rid of that because I don't want you to have cards in Soul. Because if I attacked you with Angel of Soraya, or if I attacked you with Soraya, and I had a card in Soul, I could banish it to then draw 2 cards. And that's like insane value in and of itself. And then I have go again on top of it by attacking with a Herald. And then I attacked again. There's like a lot you can do with it, but it's very situational. Numenaris to be more high skill ceiling. I think the only thing that Numenaris does is it lets you awaken angels for free, right? Luminaris. Target angel attack or attack action card with Herald. Oh, this just gets go again, right? So this has you pay 2 for a one-time thing. No, I'd rather pay this. Like, Pay 2, 1 Angel or Herald gets go again. Whereas this one is pay 2 because you want a yellow in pitch, and then an Angel and a Herald get go again. So allows for a more free switch between aggro Heralds and Iris. I hate the Iris build. I think it's dumb, but like, I think if you're gonna go aggro Heralds, you're still gonna want to choose this, because like this is the same thing as this. Like, it's the same. Like, you pitch a yellow, 2 resources, and a Herald gets go again. Right? Like, I'm not crazy in thinking that. Like, this literally is the same effect. It's just this one says if there's a yellow in your pitch, both get go again, as opposed to this one says only one of them get go again. So why would you not play this? Mm-hmm. Right. But like, you're pitching 2 reds at that. Like, that costs you more if you're pitching like 2 reds or you're pitching a blue. Right? You're pitching a blue for this, you have 1 float. Target Angel or attack action card with Herald in its name gets go again. Like, yeah, it cares about yellows, but like Prism cares about yellows. Prism's always cared about yellows. So I still don't see why you wouldn't just do that. I mean, the only thing this does is it allows you to play blues and then have 1 floating for like a War Tune Herald to get go again. But I don't know. I still think this is just the better one. I don't know why you wouldn't play. I don't know why you wouldn't play anything else. But yeah. So, but that's it. That is everything that is for heavy hitters. I gotta say, I think this is going to be one of my favorite sets. A lot of people seem to be very, very excited because it's like Outsiders had a little bit more like gimmicky things, but it still was like straight up combat, like just attacking in one another. But this is apparently really going back to the roots of it's really going back to the roots of Flesh and Blood, which is just straight up like beat the shit out of your opponent, deal a bunch of damage. You hit them with a big attack. I hit you with a big attack. We hit each other with big attacks. We try to get around our big attacks. We block efficiently. We do all this. So I do think that this set is going to do very well. I think the cards in it are very powerful. I think these generics really are some of the most, like, I think truly, like, you couldn't look at this set and tell me that there wasn't power creep. Was literally what I'm thinking. Like, you could not tell me that there wasn't power creep in this set. Down but not out, Seduce Secrets, Tenacity, Standing Order. These cards in and of themselves are crazy powerful. Freaking, where the hell is it? And really any of the Majestics and the Legendaries for each class are huge. I mean, you've got the specializations are super powerful. Commanding Performance is good. Shift the Tide. Shift the Tide of Battle is a huge Majestic that does work. Blade Fury or Blade Flurry is really, really good. Cranes of Blood Spills is an absolutely banger Majestic or a banger Legendary. Even the rare weapons are super good. I cannot wait to get Hot Streak in freaking Cold Foil. Cold Foil, oh, so good. Yeah, I think the tokens are definitely not like WTR. You know what I mean? Like, they're not like straight up in that mode. But I mean, WTR had like Seismic Surges and that was pretty. That was it. Seismic Surges. But I definitely think the token edition is very like it adds a new level because like you kind of tell like what your general playstyle is. I think it's very easy to tell looking at the set like what hero needs what, right? Like you take a look at the warrior cards and like yeah, they want what did they want? Might and agility? No. Brute wants might and agility. Guardian wants might and vigor, and warrior wants vigor and agility. And I think like that is just really like that really just slams into the concept of the heroes. And Victor wants gold. That's it. And everybody wants gold, but Victor and Kasai specifically want gold. I think it's just an absolute banger of a set. I mean, Cast Bones is just crazy. Apex Bonebreaker is crazy. These specialization headpieces are insane. Send Packing is so good. Moving into freaking Guardian. Miller's Grindstone is so specific, but will probably do a lot of work comparatively, especially in young formats. Gauntlet of Iron Will is very cool because it essentially is able to debuff an attack. Good Time Chapeau, the fact this card's rare is insane. God dang it, Betsy is going to be so good. What else? I mean, like Grains of Blood Spill, good. All these are good. It's going to be a fun time. I'm very, very excited to see what happens. And I really do wonder whether or not, like I said, I think these Rising cards are cards to look for in Limited. I think you need to make sure to keep these cards in the back of your mind because they are going to be like key parts of your deck. I'm almost certain. So, yeah. Exactly. Right. That's entirely it. You see that there's just new stuff happening with it all over. It's still very like contained to be a good limited experience. And then you just slap that all together. It's very fun. I'm very, very, very happy with how it all turned out. I have a set or I have a box coming in, I should say. Take Dog and Walk. All right, sounds good, Tomas. We'll see you later. I did also want to say they also did super well on the Blitz precons. The Blitz precons now have collector things inside of them. So getting a Blitz precon now is more warranted to get. I think a lot of people who were originally, a lot of people took a look at the Heavy Hitters collector bundle, which still isn't exactly selling the best, but there are only 1,500 of these ever made, and it's currently $160. Plus, once you add tax and everything in there, it's like 182, I think is what I paid. But it comes with a full set of the Blitz decks. You get a box and you get a special promo. And the Blitz decks are super cool because now they all have Rainbow Foil Heroes. Rainbow Foil Heroes are back in the set. And on top of it, each deck has its own extended art rainbow pitch of a certain card in it. So like Kasai has Draw Swords in all rainbow pitch. I think Bellow... what is that? Bellow something? Back in Bellow? Bonebreaker Bellow is extended art in the Rhinar build of the deck. And I think that's just so cool that they have extended art cards that are specific to the Blitz decks. Because now it makes it so that Blitz decks are like, they have collector pieces in them. And I think it's really cool. So I love that. I love everything about that. Nathaniel, I know you are it's actually past the time in which we were able to have a discussion, if I recall correctly. Yeah, open until because you are it's past that time, unfortunately. I wouldn't even have the time actually to chit chat about Clash anyway right now, because I've been streaming for nearly 4 hours, and that's much longer than I expected to. I didn't expect that set to go over and do that much chit chatting, but that's okay, right? We can always do it another time. I would like to at some point during this weekend to try and figure out a camera setup thing with you. If we can always, we can figure out how we want to do camera setups or how we want to do coverage things. So if you're available tomorrow, I think I should have some time tomorrow to do that. Because I'm probably going to be up a little bit late tonight making videos tonight. So, but we'll get it figured out. I know luckily we have a decent amount of people still signed up for what do you call it, for a league. So I mean, real quick, I can shout out the league. If you guys don't know, we do have a Clash League going on that is going to start on the 12th of February. So if you are not part of the Clash Discord, the Bold Brew Games Discord, make sure to go to the link down below in the description. It is going to have everything over there. So if you are looking for any of that, do make sure to let us know. We want to make sure to get as many people as possible set up into it, because we literally want to have we just want to have like the most amount of people we possibly can. And right now I think we had I didn't see the post. We have like 10, probably more people right now in the league. So that's pretty cool. And I think as time goes on, right, as more people start getting stuff together, obviously it's a 9-week league. We might have some people who join late, depending on what we have, right? Depending on how late in the league. We don't expect people to join like, I don't think people joining after like halfway through the league is probably a good call. But we might have some late entries. So exactly. Yeah. We want to get a general idea about numbers, but if you're trying to like join week 8, like we can't guarantee that you're going to have all 8 of your games played. So you're probably not going to have a better chance into anything. So we'll figure it out in post. But anywho, that's that. We're gonna work on that. Hopefully we can get some stuff done there. But I'll keep you updated over the weekend, see how things work. Yeah. So that's it. But heavy hitters, very excited for it. I'm excited about the collector stuff that we learned about Everfest today, and possibly the future sets of Flesh and Blood in general. 2.0 is probably going to be a lot more scarce than most people are going to realize. And I am super excited to continue to cover this game and just play around and have a great time. And I'm just super, super stoked. Obviously, if you are looking for a live stream today after I'm done here, I believe the celebrational stuff is still going on today. We're going to have the finals between Brody Spurlock and Kelvin Law in regards to the celebrational, to see who wins and gets their card created, or gets to work with LSS to make a card in their image. And yeah, we'll kind of figure it out from there. So make sure to check that out. There's going to be a Flesh and Blood live stream tonight on their website, or on their YouTube channel. So go check that out. And then the Queenstown Calling is, of course, this weekend. So you'll be able to check out all that on the same channel. It'll be done by Savage Feats, and you'll be able to check out all the cool stuff that's happening for sealed heavy hitters. And hopefully we can even see what the Fabled does today if somebody ends up cracking it open. So that's it for me. I'm going to head on out for the day. Did enough talking for you guys. So I will catch you all either maybe tomorrow if I decide to live stream, or I'll catch you guys in the comment section until next week. So take care, everybody. It's always a pleasure, as always. And I will see all of your lovely faces very soon. All right, everybody. Nerd out.